capital. This is the break. Coming live from the capital. This is the breakfast show. Coming live from the capital. This is the breakfast show. Coming live from the capital. This is the breakfast show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy.
A la carte. Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek.
I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the
Just
camera?
stand and turn. So what's your pleasure, Dan Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the breakfast show.
Second day of February 2022, brand new month of love and happiness. In fact, every day can be a day of love. It doesn't just have to be on a particular day. So that's how it works. Good to have you here. And just going through the news, and I'm thinking, what's going on now? So between 1974 and now, a certain country called Guinea-Bissau has experienced 9 different coup attempts. One of which was just yesterday. And I bet you this morning the president is feeling very relieved because the military saved him and that attempt was quelled. But what is going on in West Africa with these military interventions? It's cause for worry and complaint and concern. And so we're looking at issues of security. I'm sure it will feature heavily in the headlines this morning. Today is World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day. And if you don't know what rheumatoid arthritis is, well, it's a condition that affects the joints and can be very debilitating. And in about 25 minutes, we'll have a conversation on that topic. So if you know somebody who is living with the condition or a doctor who treats the condition, let them know that we're watching it right here on GTV Breakfast. How was your night? Hope you had good dreams and you're ready to face the day. We've got lots of conversations for you. Yesterday was the launch of the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage at the CD Conference Center at the University of Ghana. In attendance were many people, including the former President Mahama. We had representatives from the former President Kufuor, and the current president had his representative there as well. And so this particular organization that has been launched, what is it all about? We will have the chairman of the organization, Mr. Alex Segbefia, former Deputy Chief of Staff, to come here and have a sit-down with Thelma to talk about the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage. Of course, this year is the 10th anniversary of the passing of our former president. 24th July, to be precise, was the day he passed, 3 days after his birthday. And so that's a conversation that will be happening on today's show. You know, we are everywhere, just like in Frama. Yeah. I don't know how you say in Ghana, but we're everywhere on social media, on Koyo. Yeah. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, so you follow us there. And the hashtag is hashtag GTV Breakfast. All the tweets, all the Instagram posts, all the Facebook posts, you can find them there under that particular house. Hashtag GTV Breakfast. Talking of this house, I'm not the only occupant. There are two others, far nicer and sweeter than me. One of them is about to speak to you right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Kaf.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
I love the look, Charlie.
Thank you.
You people are magicians.
Charlie.
Yeah.
We had to.
You made it happen, man. On some bow at the side.
I tell you.
Don't be small. Who is responsible for this?
Simply YGH.
One time.
She's amazing.
One time.
Okay, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. Pardon my voice. I think a frog went somewhere in my dream last night and entered my voice, and then this is what you have this morning. Good morning, guys. So on top trends for us on Twitter, Daddy Lumba is trending. Sami Jemfi is trending. Guinea is trending. Hair is trending. Rihanna is trending. Yesterday, the beautiful pictures of she and her boo. Did you see it?
Okay.
She's pregnant.
She's
yeah.
pregnant.
You know, yesterday she fully showed it in a pink. It was amazing.
Okay.
So those pictures are flooding, and that's why Riri is trending. And so that's on the trends on Twitter. But over here back home, we are going to be looking at what traffic looks like in parts of the capital. We'll go to Ashalibutri to be precise. And then we are keeping an eye on the aftermath of Operation Clean Your Frontage. Yesterday, there was lots and lots of videos, and lots of people had lots of opinions to share. So we're going to look after the aftermath. Alan and Joe will be on the ground to do that for us. And then on our unearthing talent bit, on the yellow couch, we're going to have a woman who is trying to break into the music scene. So we are going to talk to her and find out how for a female, a sector that's well dominated by male. From this corner, I'm going to hand over shortly to Kaf and then just show up.
Yeah. Men wear pink shoes. I'm looking at your shoes and I like the. Why can't I wear pink? One day I should wear pink shoes.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe black, but then with pink.
Match a pink shoes with your. I think I'll do it one day. Dare me. Dare me.
I will not.
No, dare me.
No, I won't.
Dare me.
I won't.
And then light blue shoe, baby blue shoe with. What about shoes? All right, talking about shoes, we are stepping into.
Oh.
Yeah. Great. Hey.
Let's see it.
Tell me this. Lead upwards.
So we're glad to have you. Remember to follow our Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure that anytime we put it, we are grateful to our sponsors.
It's a super morning to you. Good morning to you. Part of you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good to see you again on the Wisdom Nugget for the day. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the good feedback. We're getting around the Wisdom Nuggets for the day. A nugget a day helps to keep the problems of good people that want to build up their wisdom, increase their experience and their ability to deal with the problems around them. We're still thinking about the subject of our work. Whether you like it or not, you're going to spend a lot of your time working, and you want to continue and new ways of addressing the problems and the challenges of work. And today, we're going to lead upwards. Manage your boss. Bosses too need to be managed. The bosses you work with, they too need to be managed. If you don't learn how to manage your boss or how to lead your boss, you won't be able to get what to get. Okay, so a few tips on how you can effectively manage your boss. Number one, you want to continue to be a very honest person. When you're honest, you're indirectly managing your boss, because if you're very dishonest and your boss is dishonest as well, he's going to be using you, and so you are not the one managing them. But when you're honest, even if your boss is not very honest, you realize that you're rather influencing him and your boss is even learning from you. I know a lot of workers that before the bosses make very sensitive decisions, they will go to that person and ask for advice. Why? Because they know that this person is really very, very honest and straightforward. And so it pays to be that kind of person. Number two, you want to manage your boss. You want to lead upwards so you can achieve your goals within that organization. Please never go to your boss without a pen and paper. Never, never, never. Never your boss says, hey, Michael, could you come in? Hey, Evelyn, could you come in? Hey, Ajua, hey, whatever your name may be, could you come for a discussion? You just show up with your whole self without anything to write. That's horrible. That's horrible. Our brains were not given to us to record information. Our brains were given. That's what I believe. I'm sure you can't argue against that. But we're giving things to write. Like the Chinese say, the faintest ink is stronger than, or is better than the strongest memory. And so it's so important that you write things down. When your boss is talking to you, please note down the key things. I have led different things before, and I can tell you for a fact that when you are in a very busy position, sometimes you are saying one thing and you are thinking another thing. And so if the person listening to you isn't taking notes, they are doing what you're saying and not what you're actually thinking. To repeat it to the person, your boss, and say, oh, please, you said I should do this, I should do that, I should do that. And then the boss will correct you, oh, I didn't say that. And he said, oh, please. Then the person corrects it. The long and short of it is that is one of the ways that you can manage or lead your boss. Lastly, and very quickly, if you want to lead your boss, work with your boss effectively, please try not to embarrass the person publicly. Try not to embarrass the person publicly. It is said that every commander needs the advice of the people around them, but not publicly. Every commander needs the advice of people around them, but not publicly. Save your boss's face a little bit, okay? It's wise for you to secretly or gently or find ways to suggest things to your boss without necessarily letting the whole world know that you are the one giving all the ideas to your boss. If you get into trouble by doing that, it's not my fault. You didn't listen to the wisdom nugget. I wish you a fabulous day as you seek to find different intelligent ways of leading upwards, including taking notes, including not embarrassing your boss publicly, and including being honest at work. I'll see you again on the Wisdom Nugget for your day.
Thanks for staying on. We're looking into our social media trends. Guys, Operation Clean Your Frontage got underway yesterday. And the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, was just energizing everybody to come on board as another leg of the campaign to make Accra work. Great stuff we saw yesterday.
Great stuff.
Okay.
And then on the flip side, there were the calls that said it needed to be stopped because it was illegal and you had to go through the right path. and breaking down structures. People weren't informed, the whole part. But I don't know what to think again, guys. I think it's in the right direction.
Yeah, but there was a clash with traders and the task force, you know. So they were trying to enforce sanitation bylaws, and the traders at Mamidokono VVIP Enclave protested the eviction.
Yes.
You know, bringing the exercise to a halt for a short while. You know, so this was happening, and they were not too happy. Young males looking agitated, blocking the entrance to the area.
In another report, we heard that some people were hurling stones at some trucks and all of those things. But
chanting war songs, hooting at the police. They say, we can't all work in offices. We have families just like you. So kind of things they were saying. Police fired warning shots to disperse them, but they charged, you know. Yeah, so those are pictures you can see of people. And you know how politicians are easily bullied by scenes like this. Yes, when they start shouting that we won't vote for you, and we'll punish you at the polls.
And then they start going back. But then I don't think Mr. Henry Korte would rescind his decision. Do you think?
Well,
maybe the modes of implementation, maybe, or enforcement, but I don't think he rescind his decision.
Well, why did they bring the soldiers there? I mean, this is not a police action. For me, when I see soldiers running around in town, I'm not too happy with that, you know. Yes, they have a collaboration with the police, but let's allow the police to do their work. You know, crowd control is the work of police.
Well,
yes. Soldiers don't control crowds. No. Yeah, so, well, frontage is happening. Clear your frontage.
So these are some of the scenes from yesterday's. And today, Alan is going to go back there. He's going to go to Circle. And so we are going to and see how the aftermath, the day after, what the place looks like.
Yes, and I hope that it's just not really for the, well, maybe we can say that it was the first day, so the cleaning is happening in areas where the systems really work. You will wake up and the town is clean.
Yeah.
While you are sleeping, people are working, they are washing streets, they are taking smelly dump trucks are moving in the night or early morning while you are sleeping, not at lunchtime. I've seen dump trucks come and park in front of restaurants at midday, and you have customers fleeing because the smell is not what you want to have with your wachi and your kokonte.
So maybe they'll take a cue and then start cleaning. But we have a problem when it comes to the culture of maintenance here in Ghana. That's another question we are begging, like how long have we put policies or that whatever got the filth or whatever onto the streets and on frontages, have we put measures to stop those?
Let me respond with a question. The average Ghanaian, how many times does the average Ghanaian take a bath? 2 times. Morning and night. Harmattan or no harmattan. We know how to maintain our bodies. We know how to maintain our mouths because we brush our teeth twice a day, hopefully. You know, so if we can maintain our bodies, let's just treat town. So there's sweat, you go and take it off. You know, there's morning mouth. Before you say good morning, you brush your fangs, you know, before you do that. So we can do the same. We can learn it. We maintain our bodies. We maintain our hunger.
And if everybody maintained the front of their homes or their shops or their offices, a percentage of, I beg your pardon, Accra would be clean. And this is where, see, what's the next trend? I'm not about to say MELNR on national television again.
Don't worry. No,
what's the next trend?
No, listen, we can do it. We maintain our bodies, man.
Is it management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited is doing to maintain order at the airport?
Their frontage.
They've asked Magdan to halt. So this operation halt going on at the Kotoka International Airport. Remember, Magdan and his group they were opening a private jet terminal.
Yes.
And it had been brewing for a while. Were you surprised yesterday when you saw the directive?
I was.
And it was asking them
I wasn't surprised. What I was surprised was
postpone the inaugural ceremony.
Exactly. This letter came before the inaugural ceremony.
But then the ceremony went ahead.
Exactly.
And now we are hearing there's another letter that we've cited.
Exactly.
Asking them to remain on hold.
Yes.
So operations at the terminal cannot start until that happens. So this letter came before the ceremony.
Yes.
And so
the tone, I didn't read the letter. The tone of the letter was like, you are misbehaving. Stop it.
What kind of development would happen at the airport to make this happen, which management of the airport company would not see until now? Yeah. So it's not like my backyard where I can bring a table and come and set up there and claim that I've never been to the back of the house, so I didn't see. Yeah. This is airport company. Exactly. So if certain developments are happening and you have concerns, why are they now being brought up is the question I'm asking.
Exactly.
Because materials were carried in there. Trucks obviously went in there. I mean, you cannot just... I mean, if you park around the airport, they come and clamp your car. So all the materials were going in there. Nobody saw it until now. Why now?
Well, let's hope that institutions can work, and if the things have been flouted, I mean, you can have a conversation and sort things out.
I bet it's a really capital-intensive venture to try and set up a private jet terminal. So I'm sure a lot of money and time and effort has been sunk in there, and something was missed somewhere.
Yeah, well, if the letter said it, that a lot of things
something was
were
missed
not followed.
somewhere. So we would hope that they will come out and tell us the full story.
Yeah. And when we're talking about Ghana Airport Company, well, there are Christmas tree issues to have been taken care of by Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Yeah, they're taking the board chair over for the highly expensive Christmas trees. That featured very prominently in the news. So they also have their own internal issues while they're dealing with McDan. Traj is also dealing with them. So institutions are working. This is what we are always calling for. Let the institutions work. More fire.
I like it when things appear to start to work, but I like to see an end, because that's what we usually do not see. A process is begun, but how does it end? The end justifies them. I would want to see where it leads.
Thank you.
So it's not enough to just say, oh, we are going to investigate this. What was the outcome?
Yes.
Perhaps that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. And it's the same thing, perhaps the coup makers, alleged coup makers. Was it actually a coup? Now I'm hearing it was an attempt of a coup.
Suppressed. Yeah.
And then they shut it down very quickly. But the fact that there is an attempt, it tells us something.
The 9th one since 1974.
In Guinea-Bissau.
In Guinea-Bissau, former Portuguese colony.
And I remember that when the president won that election, President Umaru Sissoco Embalo, in 2020, the military alleged fraud, but the consensus was that he had won the election, he was ruling, and until yesterday that gunfire was heard outside a presidential palace meeting, and then the rumors started going around that there was an alleged coup. I'm grateful that it was shut down, but I'm looking forward to the problems being addressed, like in every other part of Africa, and perhaps the world.
And the causes must be taken care of, I mean, all the causes and solutions must be taken care of. Factors leading to these things must be looked at. And it's gradually turning the West Africa sub-region into a
very volatile zone
kind of neighborhood, and it's not comfortable. You read these things.
When the incident happened yesterday, I was catching up on the reading, and so I did a little research, and then it's been tagged. Guinea has been tagged as the drug hub of Africa currently. I didn't know that, so that was some research, a drug hub as well. So that's what actually it's giving Guinea eyeballs now.
Add the Bissau, otherwise our Guinea friends will not be happy.
Sorry, Guinea-Bissau, I beg your pardon,
drugs are really flowing through that country.
Yes, stability in the sub-region is really, really something that we should all be concerned about. And what's happening in one West African country, what's happening in any country should be your concern. But if it's your next door neighbor or a neighbor 2 doors down, then it's even more worrying. Yesterday we asked a cheesy question about how many political parties we have in Ghana. The answer we were looking for was 29 political parties. So some of you got it right, some of you did not.
29?
So 29 political parties we have in Ghana. I bet you know only 3 or 4.
29.
If I say mention 10, now we'll be in trouble. So 29 is the answer we were looking for to our cheesy question. Some people got it right, and we have 3 winners, and they are Alogokali Justina from Peduase Lodge, Christoph Kofi Kumaplay from Dansoman, and William Kwashi from Anya Deeper Life. Alogokali Justina, Peduase, Christopher Kofi Kumaplay from Dansoman, and William Kwashi from Anya Deeper Life. You are winners for our cheesy quiz yesterday, so you've won some vouchers to grab yourself some delicious pizza or something else from any branch of Cheesy Pizza. Touch with you, and you can pick them up ASAP.
We want to add a new party to it.
A new party. I want to make it 30. P.
GTVB P. GTV Breakfast Show Party. GTV BSP.
Yes. Well, we ask you.
You're just 4 minutes.
What do you think?
Making it up as you go along.
Yeah. What do you think our motto should be?
We move.
We move. Let's throw it to our friends.
Oh, we move.
So we'll see you
Let's
on
see
WhatsApp.
what they think. Let's see what you think.
We
Do you think we should form our own political party on the GTV Breakfast Show? Let us know. Our WhatsApp number 05555610334, and our health check will be coming up pretty shortly, and CAF will be sitting down to talk about that. In the meantime, a happy birthday to Professor Mark Dodu, former director of television and concept originator of The Breakfast Show. It was your idea that birthed this show. It groomed many icons. We are stepping into these shoes because you birthed this idea. Mark Dodu, we are grateful to you. Happy birthday, and we wish you the very best. The Breakfast Show continues after the break with the health check. We'll be back.
From GBC Studio One, this is the Breakfast Show.
Shirin Malaria 360 muke ci gaba da kawo muku. Hanyar guda inda za mu kiyaye kanmu da samun malaria shine kwana a cikin insecticide treated nets ko kuwa gidan soro da aka sa mishi magani da ke kashe soraye kowane dare da cikin daren duka. Insecticide treated nets ya kiyaye ka kin samun malaria. Shi yasa ka samu insecticide treated nets sanye cikin inuwa kwana biyu sannan kai kwana cikin. Iya dauda ka wanke da sabulu da bakin shi bai da karfi. Iya nyage kana ya dunke da allura da igiya. Ka bi dokokin da gwamnati ya haje domin kiyayewan COVID-19. COVID-19 ciwo ne da ya zo mana, amma malaria yana cikin kashe mutane. Karewan malaria ya fara da ni da kai. Malaria 360, gidan maganganun malaria.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve great.
In the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group celebrate 100 years and to create another brilliant.
I am 7 years old. Beep, beep, beep.
I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
This is the Breakfast Show.
Yeah, welcome to GTV Breakfast. Yeah, we thought about setting up a political party. We're going to call it Breakfast Party. Give us a slogan, all right? While we're waiting for that to come, it's now time for Health Check. And my guests are Dr. Bernard Ufui Tete. He's a resident at the Internal Medicine Department at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and Franklin Hiagbe, who is a patient and advocate at the Rheumatology Initiative Arthritis Day. What's it all about? You will find out right after this.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the bag?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Welcome back. You're watching GTV Breakfast. Now, 2nd February is set aside every year to create awareness about rheumatoid arthritis. So today is World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day. This disease is quite chronic and it affects joints. It can happen to just about anyone. So joining me this morning, Dr. Bernardo Fuetete. He's an internal medicine resident at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and Franklin Hiagba, who's a patient and advocate of the Rheumatology Initiative. It's good to see you, gentlemen, and happy World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day to both of you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good to see you too.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start with you, Bernard. So tell us, what is rheumatoid arthritis? What family of diseases does it fall under, and how common is it in Ghana?
So rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune condition, falls under the family of autoimmune diseases. These are diseases in which the body recognizes, does not recognize the organ as it's part of itself, and forms antibodies that affects these organs and destroys it. So it's more like healthy organs are being affected by these antibodies.
So does the body attack itself?
Yes, that's what happens in autoimmune conditions, and that's exactly what happens with rheumatoid arthritis, where the antibodies attack and then destroy the joints or the synovium. So those are like connective tissue lining that covers the joints. So that's what happens in rheumatoid arthritis.
How common is rheumatoid arthritis in Ghana?
It's quite common. It's quite common. We see a lot of patients in our clinics. Most people come with conditions like joint pains, joint swelling, and they attribute it to certain things, certain other conditions, but sometimes it's really attributable to rheumatoid arthritis. And on an average per clinic, every day we can see, on a weekly basis, we can see about 10 cases on a weekly basis of rheumatoid arthritis.
Does it discriminate against men or women?
No, it doesn't. But the thing is that it affects women more than it affects men. In a ratio of about 3:1. Okay, so it's very common in women as compared to men. But as you age, as you get older, the ratio tends to equalize. 1:1 ratio, usually above 60 years. Okay, so it's more common in female, in the younger population.
Okay, so for young people versus old people, who tends to get rheumatoid arthritis?
So for young people tend to get rheumatoid arthritis, but old people as well can get it. So there's a distribution where the young people can get it and then the old people also get it. So it's actually more common in the young population as well.
All right. You talk about the body attacking itself. For the ordinary Ghanaian industry, that sounds like some spiritual warfare. What triggers this attack? So
currently, there's no known cause, but there are lots of speculations and lots of theories out there that talk about the fact that you can have people that have genetic susceptibility to getting autoimmune conditions, and then there's a trigger that comes in. So usually the trigger can be in the form of an infection, it could be in the form of trauma, it could be in the form of certain environmental factors or hormonal factors. So we realize that with women, they have estrogen, abundance of estrogen during their reproductive years, and these estrogens kind of increase or make the immune system more active, and this is what accounts for women being more common. Women having the disease more common than in men. And then the environmental factors, you're looking at, the single environmental factor you're looking at is smoking. Smoking actually increases your risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis. That is if you have the genetic susceptibility as well.
All right. You're watching a health check on GTV Breakfast. Today's World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day. And if you have any questions on rheumatoid arthritis, send them to us on WhatsApp 055-556-1034. And Thelma will read the questions out to Dr. Tete. And I'm also now here going to chat with Franklin Hiagbe, who has been living with rheumatoid arthritis for how long?
Since 2015, so 7 years.
7 years. How did you know that something was not quite right with your body?
I think the first major incident was when I was doing my national service, and my arm got swollen for over 2 weeks.
How severe was the swelling?
I couldn't. It was quite, let's say, twice the size of my arm now.
Wow.
And so I couldn't bend it or do anything.
Oh, just like that?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Were you smoking?
No,
okay.
I don't smoke. So.
All right.
So we had to do a number of tests, and it came back negative. There was nothing wrong. I think the doctor at the time just put me on some painkillers and then something to help with the swelling. That was the first major incident. But then afterwards, intermittently, something will come up. Something will come up until...
What will come up?
So it will swell again,
okay,
or there will be pain in my joints. And I think the last one, that was the most difficult trigger, was pain in my wrists. So I went into the gym one morning, lifted the bar, and I couldn't lift it. It shot through my wrist as if there was some electric shock or something. So, and since then I've not been able to go to the gym again or to lift those things again. So in trying to find out what the problem was, I'd say, long story short, I ended up in Kolebu. So this was from 2011 up until in 2015, and I ended up at Kolebu and was diagnosed by Dr. Day.
How did you feel when you were having all these things happening to you? One day your arm is swelling, another day your joints. What's going on? I mean, the thing is like it's just taking a toll through your body.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
It was unusual, and it was discomforting, because it was as if you couldn't trust yourself. You're not sure if you'd be able to go through with something or not. If you give your word to someone that you'd be doing something with them, like you couldn't see it. You couldn't be sure you'd be able to see it through because you are afraid something was going to come up. So there was a lot of uncertainties at the time, and that's what my life basically was characterized by. It's
what did you
a bit
stop
better
you from
now.
doing? What did rheumatoid arthritis stop you from doing?
So, for instance, I love playing football. I can't play football the way I love to any longer. I think at most I can do 10 minutes on the field, and that's it. I'm done. So things like that, right? I can't go out with people anymore the way I used to because you want to go and your body says, hey, no, today doesn't look like that day that you can do that. So you need to stay put. So things like that, right? Just from allowing you to enjoy life the way you would want to. Everything has to be meted down, so you are sure that you are taking care of yourself, and you are not pushing yourself or stressing your body.
I'll come to Dr. Tete shortly on how to manage the condition, but those living with you, your friends, your family, what did they think when these things started happening before you were diagnosed?
Of course, because we didn't know what it was at the time, everybody was skeptical, right? Could it be this? Could it be that? So the reason why all the misdiagnosis before I actually got diagnosed correctly, I usually don't like to lean on the spiritual side of things a lot because I believe there's always cause and effect, right? So medicine doesn't have an answer. I'll still look for a medical reason for it. So that's
those around you, were they taking?
Fortunately, my parents didn't, and I would say they would have been the best to maybe put that forward that I would have been inclined to listen to, but they didn't. We were in the same boat, so that was good for me. So my friends would come and say, oh, why don't you maybe visit this church? Well, I had a number of people coming saying,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't take them on?
No, I didn't.
You didn't take them on?
I didn't.
All right.
Those things came along, but then I didn't go that way. And I was glad that I didn't because finally I got the answer. And an interesting part of it is the fact that it got to a point where my dad was like, he was tired. We're spending a lot of money finding what was wrong. And he just got to a point where he said, you know what, son, after this one, if you don't get any answer. When I finally went to see Dr. Day and was diagnosed, I didn't tell him.
Okay. Right.
Because we had exhausted the last option at the time per our agreement. So when finally someone, I think this was at the orthopedic doctor at Kolebu, said, you know what, I think you should see Dr. Day. That's my final idea. If she can't say anything about this, then I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
I didn't tell them. I just went and saw Dr. Day.
All right.
So when I got the diagnosis, then I broke the news to them.
Okay. Full disclosure time here. The Dr. Day he's talking to is about his mama. Not me. I don't have a PhD. Dr. Tete. So now, so basically, rheumatoid arthritis is a joint disease, right? A joint condition. How do you diagnose it?
So the diagnosis involves taking a history. You need to first of all take a history from the patients. The patients will tell you what they are going through. They'll tell you their symptoms. They tell you that they are having joint pains, they're having joint swelling, like Franklin said. They can present with certain non-specific symptoms, like they can get tired, they can have a fever. Sometimes they can have limitation in the use of their joints. So when they come, the patient tells you these things.
Okay.
Then you
for avoidance of doubt, where are the joints in the body?
So
show us.
Joints, where there's movement.
Where there's movement.
Okay. So those are the joints. So you have the wrist joints. You can have the so this one they call it the metacarpal phalangeal joints. Right. So it's MCP for short. Okay. Then we have some here.
Okay.
So this one,
the ones when we cry here.
So there's a PIP joint. So it's a proximal interphalangeal joints. Okay. And we have the distal. Okay. Okay. Then we have the wrist. We have the elbow joints. Okay. There's movement there. Right. The shoulder joints. Shoulder. We have the knees as well. And then in rheumatoid arthritis, the joint pains are usually characterized with the small joints of the hands and the feet. But we should bear in mind that we can have it in any other joints, whether it's a synovial capsule or synovium. Okay. Okay. So they present with those symptoms, and then you take the history. Then you realize that sometimes the duration is also very important. We usually look at a cutoff of about 6 weeks. So duration more than 6 weeks gives you an indication that you might be dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. Okay.
Stiffness and pain?
Yes, they have stiffness as well, which is usually early morning stiffness. It's usually about an hour. And sometimes they can have something known as gelling phenomenon.
You'll be stiff for
stiff.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
And usually improves with movement or exercise. Okay. Some other conditions, it actually gets worse with exercise. But rheumatoid arthritis actually gets better when you move it. Okay.
Is that true for you,
Yep.
Franklin?
So usually in the morning, I'm always doing this.
Okay. You did it to this morning?
Yeah. To free the joints in my fingers.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have joint stiffness. They can have the fever as well. So then when we take the history, we examine the patient. So when you examine the joints to see if there's any evidence of inflammation, where there's redness, there's swelling, there's tenderness. They can have loss of function where they can't actually do things with their hands when you examine them. Once you do that, then you go on to do investigations. So the investigations include some blood work, includes imaging investigations. So with the blood work, we're looking at the diagnostic ones, you're looking at the rheumatoid factor. Okay, and then we're looking at the anticyclic citrullinated peptide. So the most specific one is the anticyclic citrullinated peptide, for short, anti-CCP. And we also look at doing the inflammatory markers. So we have the ESR, the CRP, which tends to go up. But we should bear in mind that sometimes you can have the rheumatoid factor and anti-CCP being negative. So that constitutes a different group of patients that we call seronegative arthritis. And we have the seropositive arthritis, where they have double positivity or a single positivity in the antibody screens, the rheumatoid factor or the anti-CCP.
All right.
Then the imaging, we want to do x-rays of the hands or any joints that are involved. Okay. So the x-ray of the hands actually give you features that's suggestive of rheumatoid arthritis. You can have joint erosions, which is very significant. Can be significant and signifies very severe disease. Okay. Also, we use it sometimes as baseline. You also need to do certain investigations, such as the kidney test, the liver test as baseline, or to see if there's any involvement. You also need to do a chest X-ray as well as part of the imaging.
All right. Great stuff. You're watching GTV Breakfast. Today is World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day. It's on Health Check, and it's a joint condition. My guests are Dr. Tete and Mr. Hiagba. Ms. Taki, good morning.
Good morning, Kav.
Yes.
Here's a question. Is rheumatoid arthritis hereditary and can it kill? Lovelace is asking from Ataiko.
Yes, so rheumatoid arthritis has a hereditary component. So we have seen patients who have rheumatoid arthritis, and then they have siblings that arthritis. Okay, as a percentage, it's about 20%, and even in twins, you can have that. If one twin has rheumatoid arthritis, there's a 15% chance of the other twin developing rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. And then rheumatoid arthritis, the complications of rheumatoid arthritis can actually kill if it's not managed well. But what happens is that it causes significant morbidity, where you have loss of function, you can't really do a lot of things. So it also increases your predisposition to adverse cardiovascular events.
Heart issues.
Heart issues. So you can get an infarction because of the inflammatory process that goes on. There's lots of atherogenesis, more like atherosclerotic issues.
Hardening of the arteries?
More or less. More like lipid deposition in the arteries that can cause occlusion and then lead to an infarction.
Okay.
So that can also happen with people that have rheumatoid arthritis. It increases your predisposition to adverse cardiovascular events. So yes, it can be kill. It can kill if it's not
well managed.
Yes,
okay.
not well managed.
What's up?
Africans believe that rheumatoid arthritis has spiritual connotations, and most Africans consult spiritism for solutions, better off than running to see a physician. My question is, how best can we advise the general public on that note, that physicians can solve this?
You see that a lot in your practice?
Yes,
people coming with spiritual things?
Yes, people actually come and say they think it's spiritual, that this thing isn't, there's no cure for it. I mean, yes, there's no cure for rheumatoid arthritis, and most people will tell you this is spiritual, that somebody in your family is doing you. But we tend to have to educate them continuously and advocate and tell them that the condition is real and it's not caused by any spirits or witchcraft out there. Yeah. It can be managed.
Right.
And people,
you're fortunate because your family didn't put that on you.
I was very fortunate.
Very fortunate.
Yes.
We thank God for them.
Dr. Tete, there's a ton of questions for you. What are the benefits of starting treatment right away? What treatments do you recommend? Potential side effects of treatment? How would you deal with RA pain? And are there alternative treatments that might help my symptoms? This is a whole program on its own.
It's like a fiver, man. Yeah.
So benefits of starting treatment early is that we aim to actually start treatments early. I mean, when you diagnose a patient, within 3 months you should start treatment, because once you delay, there's damage that happens to the joints, which is irreversible. So we need to start treatment right away, because we need to give them the best chance at life. Because once your joints are damaged, you can't really do anything with them, because if your joints are damaged, you can't use your hands, and hands are like them to like function. So we need to start it right away to prevent irreversible damage. So the treatments, there are lots of treatments available. We have non-pharmacologic treatments and we have pharmacologic treatments. So with a multidisciplinary approach, so we need to get counselors involved, because these conditions can have a toll on your mind. So you need to get them involved. Components as well, where you need to look at what you eat. There are some meals or food that can actually worsen your arthritis or predispose to getting them. Increase in a lot of red meats can actually do that. Deficiency in vitamin D can actually cause that. People that are taking a lot of coffee can actually worsen your arthritis as well. So that aspect, you need to look at that as well. With the pharmacologic, we have use of pain medications. Usually we tend to use a non-steroidal, and condition is an inflammatory condition, so you need to give something that is anti-inflammatory to counteract that effect. Then it comes to the use of certain medications. So we divide them into conventional disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, and then there are biologic disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. So the conventional ones, we are looking at certain cytotoxic or medications, and they are best treatments. So looking at methotrexates, we have sulfasalazine, we have azathioprine that can be used. Then with the biologics, those are a bit more expensive, but they are also shown to cause a lot of.
But in the way of, as a means of finding a treatment, do you think the risks that you mentioned are lesser as compared to the benefit it could bring to the
benefits actually outweighs the risks involved, and then we tend to monitor our patients to make sure those risks or those adverse effects don't develop.
And how do they deal with the pain when it's colder? So perhaps, especially during Harmattan, perhaps the pain is a bit more.
Yeah. So
is it true?
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cold can actually worsen. Sometimes even extremes of temperature can actually worsen. So you need to find what is actually good for you or actually benefits you. So if the cold worsens, you need to try and keep warm. Sometimes we advocate that you try and keep your fingers warm, try and wear some protective gloves. I mean, the good thing about our part of the world is that it's warmer here, so it's kind of helps and protects us in that regard.
Okay. And the alternative treatments that might help their symptoms?
Alternative treatments, we tend to, so supplementation, so sometimes calcium supplementation, like I said, low vitamin D can also help. So we tend to tend to have physiotherapy as well, that can also help you with that.
Okay.
As well.
Here's more questions. Mina Hunter Franco Bab is reaching us from New Edubiase, and he's asking, in fact, this rheumatoid arthritis thingy, I attribute every aspect which blood group system. Example, I know blood O's don't take cornmeal, milk, pork, and eggs. So this diet thing,
are you a dietitian?
is that a real thing, that certain blood groups can't eat certain types of foods, and it could contribute to rheumatoid arthritis?
So, like I said, I'm not privy to the fact that certain blood, but like I said, certain foods that use increased red meat intake.
Okay,
tons of questions and a support group for people, for those who haven't gotten the
there's a support group for us. We call it the and that was founded by Dr. Chifade, who is a rheumatologist. For 089-065, and then you can reach us on any of the social media handles at Try Ghana. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at TRI Ghana, one word. You can visit the website tryghana.org, www.tryghana.org, and then yes, send us a message, reach out to us, let us know if there's something you are struggling with. If you think that you maybe have rheumatoid arthritis or any other autoimmune condition, send us a message and we'll get in touch with you and help you get diagnosed. And if it is autoimmune or rheumatoid arthritis, yes, you'd get
all those questions that are flooding in can go to those handles.
all those questions as well. Sorry, an email. Okay. tryghana@gmail.com.
Okay, it's quite simple. I'll leave you with the last word, Dr. Tete. What's one thing you want people to take away from this conversation as we mark World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day today?
Right. So autoimmune conditions are there; they are real. Rheumatoid arthritis is also there. It's not caused by a spiritual entity. It's your body's immune system that is going haywire. Okay. So we need to advocate. We need to educate people on the condition, and then rate some of the things that can happen and to prevent progression of the disease. And I also want to advocate for people to actually volunteer with Try and help donate as well, and then help support us, because we also support the vulnerable and the young that can actually afford. We actually offer emergency services to some of our patients who can't afford their treatments, and we need help. We need help from everybody, because it's not a small feat.
It's not a small feat. I know that treatments can be expensive, but thank you so much for giving us the education on World Rheumatoid Arthritis Day. Dr. Bernard Ofui Tete is an internal medicine resident at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and he was joined by Franklin Hiagba, who is a patient and advocate at the Rheumatology Initiative. We're talking about rheumatoid arthritis. It's a joint condition. There's no cure, but it can be managed, and seeking early treatment is key. Link up with them on social media, Try Ghana, across all social media handles. Gentlemen, I wish you a good day, and let's chat again some other time.
Thank you.
Okay, and you're watching GTV Breakfast. It's almost 7 o'clock GMT, and Valerie is going to take us on rush hour with a certain bespectacled and suit-wearing gentleman in town. Who is he?
Welcome to the side. It's a few minutes to 7 and Alan is already on standby. We are looking at traffic, and no other place than Circle. He's at Danker Circle, and so we are going to Danker Circle with Alan. We're going to look at what traffic looks like, and Alan is on my screen now. Alan, Thanks for joining us. What's happening at Circle? What can you report by way of traffic updates?
Hi, good morning, Valerie, and welcome to the Dankwa Circle here in Accra, specifically at Osu. First of all, let me say thank you to Kaf. My wardrobe assistant is glad that you mentioned the outfit, and well, she won't send you an invoice, but she gladly accepts your compliment. Thank you so very much, King Kafui. Well, back to traffic situation here at Osu. If you look behind me, the Dankwa Circle has 4 exits, and so depending on which direction you're coming from, you're likely to hit the Ring Road East, which stretches all the way from Nkrumah Circle to Laboni or Labadi, and then across is Cantonment and the Osu Oxford Street. What you have behind me, which is southwards, is the Osu Oxford Street. You find traffic is slightly slow moving. This is slow moving because the Oxford Street is obviously very well known for its parades of shops, which then holds traffic somehow. And this is a slow 2-minute moving traffic. Whichever direction you're coming from the Dankwa Circle and heading towards the Oxford Street, please exercise patience. It is a slow moving traffic. It is, however, moving at least 2 minutes, and you go all the way through the Dankwa, through the Oxford Street. Now, if we head towards the Ring Road East and we're looking towards Laboni, you have a slow-moving traffic, a little build-up coming in from the Laboni end towards the Dankwa Circle. This is because you have trotros who pack up anyhow on the side of the road as you approach the Dankwa Circle. As I speak, you will find a trotro packed nearly halfway on the first lane as you approach the Dankwa Circle. And this is what aids the build-up of traffic from that end towards the Dankwa Circle. Again, commuters coming from Laboni towards Dankwa Circle, please be careful. Trotros park on the left anyhow, just anyhow, to pick up or drop off passengers. And then we're going to pan straight to look towards Cantonment, where you have, again, towards the police hospital, traffic not so bad. It is slow moving, but moving. It is not bad and nothing to worry about. You would be through from Dankwa Circle towards Cantonment, the Morning Star School area, and you won't be long and you are through towards the Togo Embassy or the main parts of Cantonment, if that's where your final destination is. We're going to pan around and look in the general direction of, again, the Ring Road East towards Circle, Nkrumah Circle, in which case you have landmarks such as the police headquarters to your right, and is also to your right. Beyond the Sankara Circle, you have the Stanchat headquarters to your left. Traffic towards GBC or the Nkrumah Circle isn't bad either. It is also, once again, a slow-moving traffic. You will, however, have to exercise a little restraint as you approach the police headquarters end because of diverting traffic onto the Sankara interchange. In this case, traffic making its way towards 37, which will have to slow down and move up the bridge towards 37. But from where we're located currently, traffic isn't so bad, moving towards the Kwame Nkrumah Circle or Kwame Nkrumah interchange end. Traffic situation around here this morning isn't so bad, and commuters can be sure to be able to move around, and the slowest or the latest time they will be held up in traffic won't be more than 3 minutes. Emphasis, 3 minutes and you'll be gone. This is the rush hour situation around Dankwa Circle here in Accra. Coming to you live on #GTV Breakfast. My name is Darrell Alantego. Thank you very much for joining us. Back to you in the studio, Valerie.
Thank you. Picked it up right here. The show is made possible by Awake Purified Water. Remember that every time you buy a bottle of Awake Purified Water, a fraction of that goes to the Cardiothoracic Center. So I encourage you to buy a bottle of Awake Purified Water today. Also, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink and Quick Credit and Investment Microcredit Limited. London made simple. Thank you for making this show possible. Remember, we are live on Facebook as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We are live on YouTube as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Of course, we are interactive on Twitter and Instagram as the GBC Ghana and GBC Online. If you look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast, you'll find us, and that's where you can connect with us. Also, you can join our WhatsApp team. We have an amazing group of people who are very interactive on WhatsApp, and to join that, do that to our WhatsApp number 05555610034. We are still looking at traffic situations, and we are going to Tetekwashi. We are looking at the Tetekwashi interchange, the footbridge. My guy Jay is already on standby, and he'll be getting to us pretty shortly. But still to expect during the show, we still have headlines where that's the newspaper review. And today we have Ken Kwesiche Dakwa. He's a media, brands and culture expert, and also Oscar Provençal actor. And we'll be having a sit down with CAF to discuss what's trending online, the topical issues, and finding possible solutions. So we'll be keeping an eye later on the imminent closure of public universities. It was a session we recorded earlier, and so that's a playback. We're going to be serving that to you hot. And then also Alan will be stationing, well, he's already there at Circle, so he'll be giving us a day after the operation Clean Your Frontage demolition. We'll be looking at what it looks like a day after. The show is still live, but we'll take a quick break.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. You need a shoulder to cry. Run on my pumpy, so we try our suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do. We go straight to stardom. And I'll take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah. The energy next level. Back baby, oh yeah. I'll take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah.
Adonko Next Level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Joe, where are you? Timmy, where is Daddy?
I don't know.
Joe! Please, have you seen my husband?
No, please.
Hey, Joe, is that how you are? Timmy and myself, we've been looking everywhere for you.
It's malaria. I tested positive.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's malaria. He needs Artemis.
Artemis is an anti-malarial that comes in small caplets for adults and flavored suspension for children.
I'll give it to my husband myself.
Let her take care of me.
I'll take care of you.
Thank you. Okay.
It's okay, baby. Don't worry, okay? Daddy is not going anywhere again.
Artemis, your ultimate quality ACT anti-malarial, is available in a pharmacy and over-the-counter medicine shop near you. Test for malaria before treatment. If symptoms persist after 3 days of treatment, please consult your doctor. Artemis, see malaria quine. This advert is FDA approved.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
A la carte. Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek.
I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the box?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Botras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Still to come, a conversation with Alex Sebafia, who is with the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage, which was launched yesterday at the CD Conference Center at the University of Ghana. That's in the next hour. And of course, Trudy sits down with Valerie to talk about all things musical. But for now, you'll be hearing the rhythms and the sounds of two gentlemen with great voices. King Kwesi Chedakwa is a media brands and culture expert and the CEO and founder of Heritage Apparel, responsible for what it looks like this beautiful Wednesday morning. And Oscar Provençal is, you knew him back then as Inspector Bediako. Even now you still know him as that because of what's happening on African Magic. But he's an actor, a man of the arts, and a commentator on the issues that we have in front of us on Wednesdays, such as this one. Our number is 055-556-1034. Keep your comments coming through. Gentlemen, it's been a week. How has your week been, Kwesi?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I must say, last week was tough because of the many funerals I had to go to. I went and commiserated with Ifya Schwarzenegger on the passing of her 83-year-old dad. It was very painful because her father died, you know, with his hand in hers. I mean, that's a difficult one. But I'm also heart-warmed by the number of people who came to support her at the 7-day observance. Yes. And that was very good. And then in Kumasi, I went to the funerals, and I realized something very interesting about funerals in Ghana. They are actually tourism events, because I don't think there are any events in Ghana other than the church events where you get that large number of people moving from one place to another for community and eventually recreation, because that's what funerals are. In the beginning, it's comfort in the community, but by the end of it, it becomes recreation. So there has to be something added to the funerals where people make a conscious effort to visit some sites, because just going into the hotels and canoodling in the bedrooms and going over and overeating at night is not enough. We've got to find a way to let whatever tourism attractions we have benefit from the funerals.
Good idea. I like it. Unique one too. Thanks. Oscar, how's your week been? What was the highlight so far?
Well, I guess
since we last met,
the highlight for me was celebrating my mother's 81st birthday over the weekend.
Auntie Ebe.
Yes.
Yes.
Auntie Anna.
Yes.
So once again, happy birthday, Mom.
Nice one.
And it was a great joy to see, you know, a couple of my friends and to see her happy and, you know, all bantering. It's something that normally happens every year, small group of family and friends. And it was a joy that every year you get to be able to dance with your mother.
Nice.
You know, so I'm fortunate,
yes.
and I wish her long life.
Yeah, forget Luther Vandross, you are dancing with your mother.
Yeah, well, you know.
Nice one.
Yeah,
Disclosure,
so that was really my highlight.
Disclosure, Oscar's mom and my dad were in the same class in school.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
okay, that's how come you know her.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. She sends
Small
me,
world.
She sends me hellos once in a
She
while.
has a sweet voice as well.
She is beautiful, yes. Yeah, wonderful woman.
I got my voice partly from my mom.
Gentlemen.
She would shout my name.
Talking about
the whole street would hear.
Yeah.
Talking about birthdays, there's a great man of GBC whose birthday it is today. He used to be the director of television. And I remember when he was here, his adjutant was Wallace Bampo in the arts as well as audiovisual production. And Professor Mark Dodu, very smart, intellectual, but hands-on as well. You know, you can be intellectual and not really get the job done. And he championed this whole concept of public-private partnership in GBC, where you can bring your independent production, but you need to use the expertise of the team at GBC. So our cameramen are working, our editors are working. You bring your content, you do your production, and then we can fill our airspace with quality material. So I want to say a happy. So to another man in the audiovisual space, my dear brother Osei Kwame Despite, it's his birthday today.
Nice one.
Happy birthday, Obrimpong. Now what to say?
While we're doing happy birthdays, yesterday was what I call her true Ghanaian legend. Grace Norte was her
okay, that's
85th birthday.
Wonderful. Happy birthday to her.
And happy birthday to her.
Excellent. Now let's dive into our headlines. This morning, Daily Graphic leads with 10-year study on corruption prevalence, unregulated party financing to blame. UTAG blames the government. The Ghana Airport Company has directed McDan Aviation to suspend operations. Those are your Daily Graphic headlines. Ghanaian Times, child labor on cocoa farms, 33,000 plus children in danger, according to a report. Now, the National Service Secretariat has foiled some gargantuan fraud, 112 million cedis, involving 14,000 plus potential fraudsters. And it was an app that grabbed these people. Operation Clean Your Frontage in full swing in Greater Accra region. That's your Ghanaian Times. The Finder leads with UTAG holds government hostage as law bans negotiations during illegal strike. Minister receives reports of Apiate Investigative Committee. And on the J.B. Dankwa court case, I found 6 stab wounds on the late J.B. Dankwa's body, says the pathologist. The Daily Analyst has the e-levy battle. Minorities swerved, but Haruna Idrisu warns against further surprises. Okay, let's dive into the Clean Your Frontage issues, because that was a big news yesterday with the big man in charge. Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey taking a salute on the front page of today's. And so there's been a lot of action in the Greater Accra region. 30,000 people were deployed, 20,000 of them being National Service personnel, and then you had people from NADMO and the security services go around. They first of all converged at the Black Star Square, Independence Square. They were briefed and given their marching orders and then dispatched into the towns, sensitizing people about the need to have their frontages cleaned. There were some clashes between some of the traders, most of them males, around the corner, who were not too happy with what was happening. They said, we also have families. Not everybody can work in the offices. So they are seeing it from a different point of view. But the point of what I want to say is that the operation has started in full swing, and the minister is hoping that we can partner him and the organization stakeholders to get Accra cleaner than it is right now. Your initial thoughts on this?
A step in the right direction. And you recall very well that we spoke some 3 weeks ago on this program about what exactly it is that we appoint mayors for. Where is the mayor? You know, that it should take a regional minister to come to the metropolis to see to it that our frontages are cleaned tells you that some offices are not working. Where is the mayor? And I asked the same question in Tema. Where is the mayor? Now in the streets, in areas where cars should be parking, you will find people stacking their wear into the very white marked lanes for cars to park. I had to get out of my car the other day and go and speak to the people and say, listen, more percent more train, not police for an soldier for best someone near me, and near the Moko police station. And then the woman says, oh, wait, yeah, sorry, you be yakwitri. I'm like, oh, Oba, we nipa. Man, yes, sir. Oh, yeah, you baba yell say we nipa. You know it's wrong. Why do you do it? So really, it is the ineffectiveness of the metropolitan authorities and the municipal authorities that has left to this build-up. Because when I was a boy, we had tankas, town council, and because people can pronounce it correctly, they say tankas, just like the Americans who couldn't say 50, say 50. You know, and they would come to the homes, and if your home was dirty, you were fined. Cleanliness is next to godliness. If you cannot be clean, you shouldn't be living amongst human beings. And then those people who say, oh, we also have to make some money. If the law says you cannot stack your wear in certain areas, why do you stack them there? Then maybe the mayors should, go to Parliament and look for some act so they can employ people. So the fines that we collect from the idiots, we use to pay the people who ensure that the idiots are not there in the first place. The filth, the filth is eating us up. It's eating us up. We have a problem of used clothing that comes into percent of that used clothing is thrown away because the people who are importing the used clothing are not sorting, the wheat from the chaff before they put them on the ships. And why aren't they doing it? Because the foreign nations who are, bundling or binding the used clothing to come here don't want that waste in their country. So essentially, shipping of the used clothing is a way of getting rubbish out of the country. True, there's fast fashion, you'll find some good things in there. But if 50% of that is going to total waste, we have a problem. So this clean your frontage thing, very, very necessary. And it's not something that should even be in the news. It's something that should be ongoing on a daily basis. Sometimes you create employment not by looking for money to pay the workers, but by ensuring generate its own money. If you have people who are arresting idiots for breaking the law, the money they pay, and I said this thing some time ago, is the KBN tax, Kwasia Binti tax. Oya Kwasia, Yabajuska. Oya Kwasia, Yabajuska. So the KBN tax works for everybody who cannot clean 10-foot radius around wherever they sell. Whether you're selling cocoa in Nkatia or you're making kelewele, any dirt 10 feet radius around where you're selling, that's your responsibility. And if you don't clear it, KBN tax, Kwasia Binti tax. And then we use that to pay these young people who have no work.
Unusual and but very interesting suggestion from King Kwesi Chedakwa on the clean your frontage issues that are going on right now. Oscar, so Kwesi made a point about, he asked the question, where is the mayor? And we do know that for now, the mayor is not directly elected by the people in the area, as opposed to maybe the case of Fashola in Lagos, who made the headlines because he organized Lagos. And in other countries, mayors are directly elected. So they are answerable to we the people, as opposed to our situation here where he has higher powers, political powers, or she has. And our mayor for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is a lady, Ms. Elizabeth Saki. So would it be better if we had our mayors directly elected so that they are responsible to the people who put them in power, instead of they have so many bosses, maybe the president or the regional minister, or
Well, I suppose in one breath you can say yes. Accountability is based, really, if we want to put pressure on a mayor that has been appointed by government and is non-functioning, we should be able to marshal enough forces to push for the person to be out, whether political expediency or not. That really depends on the powers that be. But let's not forget, a mayor is probably as good as the resources that are available to them, the thinking outside of the box is also critically important. We have a situation, and I haven't seen or heard about the mayor in this. Maybe this is the minister's pet project. So, you know, so mayor has to be second fiddle to
Is it not too micro though? Because I mean,
not necessarily.
The minister is the policy man.
Not necessarily
for the region.
Not necessarily.
Why is he jumping into the fray with shovels and pickaxes and?
I call that the rolling spectre.
I believe it's a shared responsibility.
It's kind of populist, though.
Yes, I mean, you know, I believe that it's a shared responsibility for all of us. You know, I'd love to see the mayor leading as a woman. Indeed, my own father was the mayor of Accra. We're probably the first mayor of Accra. So for me, that's a huge connection there. You know, to see the city as it once was. But hey, we've got issues of sustainability. You come up with great initiatives. This is not the first time. It won't be the last time. You know, you've got to deal with issues of logistics. You saw images yesterday of people cleaning gutters. Were they wearing the right apparel? You're asking citizens to go and jump into gutters, endangering probably their health. You know, they haven't been given the right logistics, the right training in clearing the rubbish. We don't have enough logistics to clear them. If it rains, God forbid, it's going back into the gutters. If it's not, it's an eyesore. If it's not, it's, you know, it's a breeding ground for malaria. And we have another challenge, which are the landfill sites. Where do you send them to? So despite all the logistics, and kudos to service providers, you know, and Zoomline, you know, at the front leading it, I believe that if we want a holistic approach to this, a more pragmatic approach to this, I'm not sure how effective this is going to work out to be, because you're going to have to also make sure there's enforcement and there are the right punitive measures to go by. So there has to be a holistic approach to it. And I believe those who have planned this definitely know that, you know. But we've seen this time and time and time again. But the shared responsibility this time, I think, is more on us, the citizens, you know. But at the same time, if there's not a bin there, and we haven't provided the logistics, and even if you provide the logistics, you have citizens stealing the bins.
In some areas, they nail the bins
on the street light. There has to be some form of, you know, and so forth. That the 20,000 national service personnel, total 30,000. That's a lot of people, you know, out there. If they can do this in, you know, in a very holistic manner, move through, and we will see results. Fantastic.
Let me run some numbers by you. So, 29 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies passed a bylaw late last year to deal with this particular issue. So they are involved with this. With the attendant loud music and announcements for people to get involved. So you have people from National Service. They had their T-shirts, you know, special. There were 50,000 T-shirts that were printed or made. Operation Clean Your Frontage. Let's make Accra work. I need you. You need me. You know, create awareness. So they cleared traders and removed commercial buses from road pavements. There's a picture actually in the middle spread of today's Ghanaian Times of a T-shirt wearing member of a task force destroying tables at Kwame Nkrumah Circle during the exercise. So they're going to be planning daily sweeping of streets, curbs, walkways, open spaces, picking of litter from walkways, road medians, open spaces, the streets, installation of concrete bins, to foil those who want to steal. Now the bin is made from concrete. Try it and see. Regular weeding of road medians, greening of public open spaces, establishment of transfer stations in the various MMDAs to enable easy disposal of waste by the collectors, Now 3,500 youth have been recruited, and they're undergoing training to form the City Response Team, CRT, just like the question, where are the city guards? So they would be policing every vicinity and major intersection in Accra. They're going to be established call centers with toll-free lines to receive calls or complaints from sanitation informants. There's more. Zoomland is part of this. They've made available 1,000 container installed tricycles. I guess those are the Abuboya or the Pregia, what you call them, and 58 compactors. You were in that space. What's a compactor?
Well, a compactor is a truck that basically compacts. When you put the waste in, it crushes and compacts.
All right. So basically, the minister says, listen, we should join in. We need each other, and batch of the CRT will be deployed to the various MMDAs to ensure that hawkers do not sell on the streets. They want to make Accra one of the cleanest cities in Africa.
I'm laughing because it makes me feel like maybe we should shut down the Metropolitan Authority and then create desk officers at the ministry, because the minister seems to be doing the work that the Metropolitan and Municipal Authorities should be doing.
And for you, it's a flaw.
And, well, I mean, he's a great leader. That's clear. It shows that, you know, I know very much about the tourism and hospitality sector. And when you have a good restaurant manager, right, he's happy to pick the tray and serve if he finds there's a chink in his armor, if he finds there's a waiter who has a sprain in his knee or his ankle. He's happy to do the work of the sommelier. He's happy to be the one who is cleaning a table. And that's exactly what this minister is doing. Why? Because his waiters, his sommeliers, his bar managers are not working. Because if they were working, he would policy and directives, not he himself standing there doing what Rawlings used to do. And Rawlings had to do the same back in the day too, because people were not working. So if people are not working, and the Auditor General says we are losing 12.8 billion Ghana cedis, 12.8 billion through corruption and wastage, why are we keeping those people on the payroll when we can save some of that money so we don't end up like America with a 30 trillion debt, which today means every American, whether he's been to university or not, already owes $90,000. So maybe it's time for us to cut the public service, because we have too many people in the public service who do absolutely nothing. And the people in the public service themselves will tell you. I worked at GIPC, and even there were people who did absolutely nothing. They showed up, they sat down, and they went at the end of the day. So really, the people that we have elected amongst us, and I will repeat this again, we haven't necessarily got the smartest people in leadership. We get the people who are willing to put themselves up to serve, and out of what they tell us, we vote to pick the best of that lot. Because most of our smartest people don't even want to work in government. But once you are elevated to that position in government, just do your work. If not, like I repeat again week after week, go to Nanado, thank him very much for him elevating you, but tell him, Openyi, you have elevated me beyond my pay grade. And so say me and resign and go home, and maybe we don't fill anybody there again. Because why are we paying money and then you need to get your regional minister to come and do the work that municipal and metropolitan authorities should be doing? I don't get it.
Do you get it? I would love to know from you. 055 556 1034. King Kwesi Dakwa and Oscar Provençal are here to look at the headlines. Big news in Accra yesterday was the Operation Clean Your Frontage kickstart. And I'm just wondering, in the other regional capitals, is anything of this nature going on? Or is it that your capital cities are cleaner than Accra? So we're talking Ho and Damongo and Tamale and Nalerigu.
You should go to Sunyani.
And Sunyani.
Beautiful place.
Cape Coast.
Very clean.
Are your cities cleaner than Accra? So is there anything such thing going? Are you looking on with envy and thinking, oh, we should have some of this in our place because our place there, crying. I'd love to know.
It should be replicated.
All right. And the process, I mean, do you feel it?
I hear Ho is cleaner than Accra.
Ho is clean.
And Koforidua is as clean as Ho.
Ho is clean. I haven't been to Kofi in a long time, but Ho is definitely clean.
At the core of this is the levels of indiscipline. You know, you said I was in that space.
Yes.
So I do know that people literally throw waste in front of, you know, the workers and say that
Zoomline will come with you.
You have been paid for it, so throw.
Yeah.
There's a lack of discipline in our body, you know. And if you look at countries like Japan, China, discipline, and it starts from kindergarten. There's a culture of discipline.
So education,
discipline,
training.
So here we are, we just do anything by heart, and you sometimes wonder, where did we go wrong? Is it that, okay, when you go back, a lot of, there's urban migration, rural urban migration, so not even consider this to be their home. When you go to their villages are clean. When they have no loyalty to Accra.
Because they're no longer in the village.
You mentioned education, but I think before education, you know, if you don't have parents who themselves are sufficiently enlightened, you already are at a disadvantage. You know, so this whole concept of cleanliness is next to godliness, charity begins at home. If your parents don't have that basic, you're already at a disadvantage. And which is why the state steps in. The state steps in so that those who have an advantage because they come from a certain type of family will not go too much ahead than those family they come from. And which is why I keep talking about the fact that the Minister for Education should look at bringing citizenship and civics into our education system. If we don't have teachers for it, let us use those who teach language, the ones who teach Twi, Ga, Hausa, whatever. Citizenship and civics. So you get to the point where a 7-year-old child can look at his father doing something, and that child can tell the father, no, don't do that. I remember in England, I'm in my bedroom one morning, the light is on, curtains are drawn, shut. My daughter comes in, opens my curtains, turns the light on.
Save power.
Turns the light off. Sun is the brightest light. Why have you still got your electric lamps on? Because she learned it in school at the age of 6. Right? So if we have citizenship and civics, citizenship will teach us what does a good citizen do? What does a bad citizen do? So at least they have some basic ethics. Even if their parents are thieves, if their parents are drug dealers, if their parents are corrupt government officials, the child has been taught not to be so. And then as for civics, they'll teach us basic courtesies and how to get along with humanity.
While they're at it, they should teach the child how to talk to the father before they get a backhand.
Before you get a backhand, oh yeah.
I was not going to give my child a backhand for telling me the truth.
The right things. 10:34. I love Wednesdays. Oscar and KKD making my morning. And I'm going to just throw the baton now to Valerie, because we're going to keep an eye on something we've been talking about.
It's in line with it, yes.
It's in line.
Yes.
Take it away.
So we are going to go to Alan. He's at Circle. We are looking at the aftermath, the day after Operation Clean Your Frontage, and Alan is on our screens now, so he'll be telling us what the place looks like. Alan, hi. Hello again. You're live.
Hi, once again, good morning, Valerie, and good morning, Ghana. Welcome to #GTV Breakfast. It's day 2 and the second day after the launch of Operation Clean Your Frontage. I'm coming to you live from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and for those of us in Accra who knows Kwame Nkrumah Circle very well, if you look at the scenes behind me, you will find something different has taken place. What exactly it is the fact that those who converted our pavement or our sidewalks into market squares today are no longer able to do so. And so if you look right from behind me, you will find that this is the pavement or the sidewalk that behind the Odona Trotro station, the GPRTU station circle, and that pavement would by now be completely taken over by hawkers and traders who have their stores set up on the pavement. Thanks to that great initiative, great leadership, we no longer have sidewalks and pavements are back to us pedestrians who would not walk and share the streets with cars, but have our pavements back. What you have is a few of them who would complain, are complaining. I'll be speaking to some traders who've been moved away from here, but then I have a few issues to pick up with the initiative, and so would want to share what their views are and how it has not been done. Now we're coming round towards the end, looking in the general direction of the GCB tower. Again, you would notice this would now have, if not tens, it'll be hundreds of people lined up and pushing pedestrians who would otherwise walk on that pavement onto the street to share the street with cars. Today, they've all been cleared. They're all not there. What you have, though, is a few recalcitrant ones who seem to be the only strangers in Jerusalem who have no idea what the situation is in Accra. Again, setting up their individual stores on there. I have seen, emphasis, I have seen a city guard trying to move them on, except that they're becoming difficult to deal with. And so maybe these are the ones who need the presence of the military once again to speak a certain citizenship into their heads. We're now going to look around towards the Obra Sport end. And again, you will notice that all of them, every single trader who trades on that side of the pavement has been moved on. They're no longer there. If you see anyone there, these are people carrying stuff on the top of their head and will have suddenly stopped for a customer or two picking up, and then they'll move on, because again there is a city guard stationed there to make sure that nobody returns ever. The critical question though is sustainability. How long can they be there for, or how long will they be there for, to ensure this is sustained so that pedestrians will have our pavement back to ourselves? It is done for us, or was made for us, and so we are going to have it back. I'm going towards the Kwame Nkrumah Vodafone end, and you'll find that at this VVIP station, Lion operatives are clearing up the mess from yesterday's clearance, and also fenced off, and so traders who would otherwise have taken it over can no longer do so because it's been fenced, and so pedestrians will walk freely on there and not have any problem whatsoever. What we're not sure will be done or won't be done though is the trotros who load in front of the currently non-existent Ebony restaurant. If you grew up in Accra, you would know where Ebony restaurant used to be. Those trotros who load around there, they are the ones who are still over there, and we're asking if these are going to be moved on, if ever. Now let me go and speak to these men who were in a certain authority over traders who trade out here. They are the chairman and the secretary of the traders who used to trade or who trade around the circle area, who's been moved on. They have a thing or two to say about the situation, and so I'm going to go and speak to them immediately and come back to you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Ajam Pacha Pumwe.
Boko.
Me Pacha Umudin Kakranchem.
I have from Kwabna Ata.
Ajakwabna me Pacha only a didra ewo circle hey no. Udimu akotene pa. Ene ohwe nia ye omo nyina free akwan no ho a oni enam pavement so ekobe etel say.
Oh eye say ye nidwa ewo pavement so. Na mum ahokyere bi nti market ne hye no esese aban ana ame bomodin say mfie mienu ni otumi si market no edema wom eboboa wom ho ansana wom mankrofo na ko market nim wom nya ho hwe abo krom mfa ngu ho ana mapam nkrofo no pavement ne so fa no de fa se kwa lebom. So woman the band wire echemu ema nipa fa animu ana adwadifo no wo for the meantime
I say yanisa adwadifo edi dwa wo sek he no say obi a otafa ha obehunu say obi kura ne store ni no atwe nneema nso asan begu kwan no so
nim kura begu ho ana mom opani se so kwohwe market wa enhwe to sese nipa bewu wo ma nya wo bo bia enti ye se mpanifo sabi ye ne to aba edema wo mo enti se bibi sa ba payment so ye liga na mom wo mu mia wo mani no mu siesie market wo enya bibi afa nipa ba ko pe wo Ghana ha ni sika betumi aye enya ba
me da say me anhwa ne say so say wa kan ade atum say ye nigga e pavement so na e ya ade a na e course wa nkosi say aban edi ne na esi form aya ne say e den e na esan say wo ye panin wa ha na wo hwe adwadifo ne bisunti e den ne nia wo so be ye wa famu na hwe say adwadifo a na so odin esan say no pay say wo dan wa ni kra say obi a hyedwa e wo no I say o de beboa na sa ne a wo hyedwa wo ho no obekọ odwanum san say omo sa na mamudi mo ne den na be
no kra sani se nipa o boa ho a ala pani bi wanim na pani no dwere mo ho na oboa mo a asomre e wo ho no kra Nyankopon anim sa wo kodwanim sesi a menko dia aka momo de na mu redwo unya ba bi mfa na nsi ayi ya fa say canopy kra man sibi amfa ma wom bebre anya bi enti se dwai obotumi asi na ba so to so miansa na mapam ni pani nyina akudwanim na ne wo mu ye de eye kwa wo mu ye de on besa ba
aban so senkiti se onu no mbetwe pa o ma me ma alaji mram na me alaji mpacho ma chen
ya ura
me pacho anopei o hwe oni a ye yi o ma free pavement so no mo ebi san abadwa abehye dwa ho no a etew sen
edi kan no meda GTV ase ni akwanja modi amami se menso menchira madwen wo ni abai ho etosum yenu mebo onabo Henry Abaso wo djuma pa odi wo enkran kro mu in fact honorable oye djuma nkasa na djuma so sani na ho blenso na ho blase nso esani onye obi a oye gidigidi ono betrase ene wakasa se na mpese me ye se na
ye bre nu so antim pacho ya no
engineer mesra ni se enura oba ha be ye se djuma bi na me yoditoni amatra almost be 30 years na ni obeye enura no so enye bone so nemom de mesra na ni se the areas bi wo secret ha obetumi ama aditonfo no wahihye kama ma won atumi atranti ma disra dia ne se obema ye hu ni mpanufo ni bi na ye ni won ma di ahia na ye ni won ma trase na san hihye no won matumi aya me de ma disra dia no because nkanka mabu no so won mi tia sa adwumanya
and so that's the situation out here this morning. The pavements have been cleared of all hawkers or traders, and so pedestrians have had the opportunity this morning to walk freely on them. These sentiments, as expressed by the men I've spoken to, one critically is one that needs attention to, that if we have moved them on, where are they to go? If there's nowhere for them to go, in which case they become unemployed, then obviously we can expect certain social vices to kick in. This has been Keep an Eye, coming to you live from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle area. My name is Daryl Alantego. Take it over, back to you, Valerie.
Thank you, Alan, for those updates. And I've been asking this question from how can we maintain this? Is this going to be sustainable? How can we sustain this? And hey, everybody else is asking that question. And so it's still GTV Breakfast. I'm handing over to Cuff and the two gentlemen, Ken Kwesi Dakwa and Oscar Provençal. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Valerie. And what's our number is 055-556-1034. Let's do a competition, okay? Cleanest capital city in Ghana. Send us your nominations, all right? We have 16 capital cities of the various regions, okay? All right? So send us your nominations. We want to know which of the regional capitals is the cleanest. Which one is it? All right? We'll do a 055-556-1034. Rep your region. Send us. We want to know, okay? Do we need this action, or you are thinking? man, we are clean already. We don't need no clean your frontage. We're clean.
No, but why didn't you say cleanest city? Why cleanest capital city? Because my city, Tema, is clean.
You see, so city, yeah, just make it city.
Yeah, just make it city.
All right, just for Tema Shege reasons, cleanest city in Ghana. Send your nominations to us, okay, 055-556-1034. It will be on my Twitter as well, and on Instagram too, yeah? Cleanest city in Ghana. We want to know. 055-556-1034.
I think they used to have a competition.
There should be a competition.
You know.
Yeah, we should make it competitive.
But at this time, it may be Umofia.
Look, we need community service on our statute books.
Exactly so.
You know.
Listen, guys, because last Friday I saw this interesting letter from the Ghana Airports Company Limited, and the tone of the letter was really like a headmaster chastising a naughty student. So the Ghana Airport Company Limited was directing McDan Aviation to suspend its operations because of some safety and security infractions as laid out in a long letter that they wrote to McDan. McDan apparently ignored them, went ahead and launched their private jet terminal. Now we've got a letter from Ghana Airports Company directing them to suspend the operations that were launched last Friday. I'll read a little bit of the story for you. So the McDan Aviation has suspended operations at the new private jet terminal of Kotoka International Airport indefinitely following a directive issued by the landlord, Ghana Airport Company Limited, for the newly refurbished terminal to be closed down after some concerns were raised against the company. So there are a couple of concerns. Inability of the company to meet its financial obligations and total disregard for some laid down procedures at the airport. So the facility has been closed down until further notice until the two parties meet and discuss the issues bordering on safety and security. So this used to be the domestic terminal, I believe, which is now a private jet terminal. And before it was launched, there was a video that went around. A friend of mine did that. A journalist, Ivy Prosper, went there, did a little video of the operations, the terminal which was supposed to be receiving guests. And I thought, okay, well, interesting, Ghana. This is not everybody would fly in a private jet, so this is catering to the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, maybe. But yes, if there's a market for it, why not? And it's a good way to make provide some services to those who can afford it and who need it. But the Ghana Airport Company said, listen, our safety is paramount to us, and this is the way we run our operations. The company went ahead and did it, and the institution has now shut them down.
I really wish you would read.
No, the letter is the letter. We're putting the letter up on the screen for you to see.
I want us to look at the letter because essentially, I mean, we're communications people.
Yes,
he's in acting.
So
that's communications. I'm in media and brands. That's communications. You are in media and lecturing. That's
the letter that is there.
It's an opportunity for all who are in corporate communications to learn, because in business communication, as in all communication, even as in family communication, the most important thing is listening. But next to listening, important things are clarity and tone.
Okay, so we're going to get Thelma, if you can just read this letter for us.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, Dokes, you're probably not going to see me because I'm like way at the other side of the studio. But it's a notice to suspend the National Airport. And it says, we refer to our earlier discussions and subsequent directive to suspend the inauguration of the private jet terminal at Kotoka International Airport, KIA, until all the necessary operational requirements and obligations are met. We note with concern your failure to comply with the directive despite the outstanding issues on the prior terms and conditions for the use and operations of Terminal 1 as a private jet terminal. Management has consequently directed the suspension of your use of Terminal 1. You are kindly requested to relinquish the keys to enable management undertake a joint inventory by close of business day, Monday, 31st January 2022. We count on your cooperation, and it's signed Yao Kwakwa, Managing Director, to the President, Jubilee House, Secretary to the Vice President, Jubilee House, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Transport, Honorable Minister, Ministry of National Security Coordinator, KIA, Board Chairman, GACL, Director General, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and the Director of Aviation Security, GACL.
Wow.
So that's the letter that was on the
Lots
screen.
of copies.
Yes, indeed. And it started, you see where it started from, the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what this tells me is there's an undercurrent.
Power play.
There is an undercurrent, you know, and there are things that have preceded, and somebody has not done what was requested. That is clear.
If you had read the tone of the first letter, you realize that there's something going on.
This is softer.
This is softer.
With all due respect.
Yes.
This is softer.
Do you think KKD and I this building or renovate this building for a private jet this thing? There's nobody on the board. There's no oversight committee. You're talking about this is a national security asset. You're talking about private jets that can fly in and out of our airspace. There's a major breakdown.
Something is wrong. So
it doesn't.
How did it begin?
Absolutely something fundamentally
wrong. How was the first
wrong.
piece of furniture put in there?
Have you seen the place?
Paintbrush
Beautiful.
Put in there. So really,
how is it possible?
Really, I'm getting the feeling that some strong person in government says, "Go ahead."
I wouldn't conclude.
And
that.
no, this is what I think. You know, thinking is very necessary here because Macaulay is not an idiot. He's not going to just pick his money and put it in something when he doesn't feel he has the backing of some powers that be. Yeah, However, if some strong hand in government says, go ahead, and he has gone ahead without acknowledging the actual appointed authorities, then that's a problem. Because some strong person in government who is not one of the authorities, you know, when the bloody thing hits the fan, Yao Kwakwa is an appointed authority. He is the managing director. So whoever is the muscle to go ahead, he should at least have spoken to Kwakwa to say, please help our brother. But should that really happen?
Should we get to the... I mean, that's
but
ridiculous.
It started, the PR has gone ahead, and now they're saying, oh, you owe these monies, you owe that money.
First letter, the tone of the first letter was just...
I was hoping the first letter is the one you would read.
Is here, so I'm going to read this for you. So the Ghana Airport Company has noticed with concern your disregard for the norms of doing business in the aviation sector, which requires strict security rules. Indeed, you have engaged in several activities without prior approval from Ghana Airport Company Limited, which have typically... One major example relates to your commencement of construction of the private jet terminal without a plan of construction operation approval from Ghana Airports. We only became aware of your construction activities during routine security patrols, and we had to ask you to stop and submit a PCO for review and approval before construction continued. And then we only received your request for logistical support for the inauguration, including arrangement for parking and management of approximately 300 invited guests yesterday, January 27th. Of course, the thing was supposed to be launched on the 28th. The nature of our work demands that we should have been given a reasonable period of notice to enable us plan adequately through engagement of relevant staff and stakeholders. Indeed, all attempts to meet with you for discussions in connection with the proposed inauguration over the past 3 days failed as a result of your failure to turn up for the planned meetings. Meantime, security was heavily breached at the terminal on January 27 through the parking of several vehicles in front of the terminal building. What makes this disturbing is that beyond verbal admonition, we had written to you the previous day, January 26, to the effect that cars could not be parked there. And the letter continues with more. Given all the above reasons, Ghana Airport is unable to support the inaugural event at this time. We therefore ask that you postpone the event until we iron out all the necessary issues and you prove to us that you fully understand and appreciate how things are supposed to be done in the aviation sector in the interest of safety and security. Kind regards, yours faithfully, Yakwakwa, Managing Director. And this is interesting to me because in this letter, he copied the Honorable Minister of Transport, the Honorable Minister of National Security, the Group Executive Airport Management, and then Director Aviation Security. Okay. There was no Jubilee House person.
Now I want to address my brother, Mr. Provincial.
Yes, yes.
You see, Mr. Provincial, my uncle was part of running this country for 19 years, in the same way your father was part of running the Metropolitan Authority for a long time. And one thing I know for certain about power is that when people are moving in power, you can tell. When people are doing things knowing that they have the backing of somebody in the corridor of power, you can tell. You can't just get up and go and do what has happened at the airport if you don't have somebody saying, go ahead. I like Macaulay. I like him because he's a man who has risen from nothing to something and created jobs for lots of people. But there are laws, there are rules, there are regulations. If he hasn't breached any of those, then I feel sad that he has been stopped. But if he has breached them, then what Mr. Kwakwa is doing is the right thing. I feel, however, that there hasn't been sufficient engagement. And if there hasn't been sufficient engagement, I do not know why Mr. Kwakwa could not stop them from putting in so much investment. Must not go in for the place to be inaugurated before we get what we are getting now. So really, our regulators, and I always talk about regulators. You see, some idiots say when God goes to sleep, money rules the world. No. If God ever goes to sleep, judges rule the world. Our regulators are like our judges. If our regulators are doing their job, people will not step in the wrong place in the first place. Because that much investment, and I saw the video. When I saw the video, I was very happy. I was like, oh, my rich friends from the Emirates can just fly there. Yeah, why not? Because they want to come to Ghana sometimes. And they always wait to come on the Emirates. They can bring their private jets in and we can have a weekend and they can go back. That's what made me happy. But to hear calling whoever was running that to me, when he has management team who he could send to representing of meetings, shows a certain disrespect from the Macaulay end, Yaw Kwakwa end. And let me tell you, no matter how rich you are as an individual, you are not more powerful than anybody in the State Department of the United States of America. And it's the same. No matter how rich you are as an individual in Ghana, you are not more powerful than the IGP, and you are not more powerful than the people that we ourselves elect or appoint to the state. So let there be some civility, and you know, let's find a way to solve this case. I would want to see that place operate. But if they have safety issues, then naturally it should be closed down for now. I still pray, however, that Mr. Macaulay and his team can get back to it. And then I saw an article which was written about him, and the journalist called him Dr. Macaulay. What's his PhD in?
Honorary.
Yeah, but if it's honorary, you don't call the person doctor. If it's honorary, you put the doctor after his name. Okay. When people are rich, let's say rich man. But if people haven't studied for a PhD, stop calling them doctor. People are using their brain, some are using their brawn, some are using their intellect, some are using their greed. Let's give each one their due. Let's stop banding doctor around for everybody.
We love titles.
He's a brilliant man.
Come on.
And his brilliance alone is enough. But if he hasn't studied for a PhD, stop worrying the man. He doesn't need your doctor. As Macaulay, he's big enough.
Kafui, my issue is this. Do you think that a flight can come in and land at that terminal without authorization?
It's not going to happen.
Do you think so?
It's never going to happen. You need authorization before you can enter our airspace. So, who's going to land you?
If you want to cut corners and you don't get that authorization, nothing will happen. It's your investment that's gone waste. Secondly, as we sit here, an inauguration does not mean commencement of operation. Mm-hmm. There are companies who have operated for over a year, 2 years, and then decided to launch and inaugurate.
Exactly.
So, inauguration. If you don't have the license, you don't have the...
You would have preferred operations to be running for a while, and then you say, hey, guys, boom, we're in.
Yeah, you do your tests. You run tests. So please, there's a lot more going on with this thing.
Yeah.
Than the eye can see.
Yeah.
There's not 2 letters that will give us all the information.
Yeah. Just the tone, the CC. I mean, the copies that he copied in the first one are different from the guys.
You can tell that there's a play going
power
on.
play. Yeah.
And so, you know, we'll get it to come and pass.
All right. Hey, 055-556-1034. You're already sending in your nominations.
But we should be concerned. About that terminal.
Okay.
Private jets coming into this country, in and out, can be conduits for many things.
Yes.
So when it comes to national security issues, that terminal, there must be eyeballs on it.
Of course. And the letter from Mr. Kwakwa, the managing director of the Ghana Airports Company, had the relevant people copied the first letter. So you had the transport minister, the minister for national security, the national security coordinator, and then the other airport, the technical people. So yes, those concerns are very much in point. Let's go to Thelma quickly for the messages on 055-556-1034. I'm looking at Twitter messages. Cleaner city in Ghana. Let's see if Thelma gets any votes. But Thelma, what do you have?
It's a whole battle of which city gets the take this morning. A few messages have come in. I'll try to run. Nanefo is saying, myself, I don't get it. It pleases me to know that from the world I find myself, people criticize everything regardless of the implications. So doing the right thing to get Accra and Ghana working would certainly get the masses talking. So let's keep them talking, is what Nanefo is saying. Then on the airport issue, she says 2 particular questions keep popping up in my head whenever I hear Magdan private jet operations. Where was GACL when Magdan commenced operation? Who gave Magdan the green light to move to the terminal to set up the place for operations? More comments coming in. Good morning, Salman. Calf, brilliant submissions from KKD and Oscar. Our honorable regional. Many people getting into positions as directors, DCs, etc., but few leaders. Government must appoint leaders who can bring change to our institutions and not just people. Positions. More. Good morning, GTV. What are the authorities waiting for? Cars to knock pedestrians down, leading to loss of lives before we do what is right. It's getting to 2 years and the traffic lights at Tudu Kimbu School and New AMA are not working. Some of our leaders are wicked and not using their brains. Ricardo says this from Shaiman. So here is one for Ho, and Operation Clean Your Frontage is here again. Excellent concept, sustainability, the problem. Kafui, we've had a number of such interventions in the past, but the state of Accra tells us that they failed because we couldn't sustain them. I pray we succeed this time. Can we start teaching our children right from kindergarten through tertiary as a subject? I think that's being done to some extent, but Bob Charles is calling for that from New Biker in Boem in the OT region. He's voting Ho as obviously, according to him, the cleanest city. Not only that, it's beautiful too, small, cute, and beautiful hilly surroundings. I certainly agree with those descriptions of Ho. It is a beautiful city indeed. Good morning, GTV Breakfast, Kafui, Thelma, V, and your gentleman guest for your great work. Sunyani is the cleanest city in Ghana so far, according to Miawezo Kofi. More messages. It's very sad in Africa. Why does violence come to stay forever? Does it? Does it? Does it? Sack hawkers is a good idea, but where are they going to end? Hence, meant no planning. Okay, so good morning, GTV. Thank you for sending that message. Seidu, good morning. I have a feeling money will be squandered yet again. The idea is laudable, but the approach could have been different. The service personnel and co mean it will be done for just a while and then go back to normal. Moses says that from Agege. With response to the cleaner city in Ghana, I'm going for Sunyani. So 2 votes for Sunyani so far, 1 for Ho. Let's see if we can keep up. I'm a young actor and capable of doing anything. Uncle Kafu, I really admire. Please send the young actor your. This is quite a long one. Let's see if I can go through very quickly. I've never supported the idea of elections and mayors because it will be a party bias and they couldn't account to the people. Our members of parliament are elected. So he's deleting stuff that he's sending to us. He's just probably changed. He said, nah, I'd rather not say that on national TV. This clean Accra will not last, as KKD said, unless the assemblies work, we get nowhere. Those so-called task force on the street is just to make money for the boys. They collect money and items from the traders and allow them to sell. They tactically come around and pretend they are driving them away. Keep my words, it will not last. Relative politicism. Shirley is saying that, Shirley, we hope that that doesn't happen. But that's your view. More messages. Good morning, GTV. My name is Samuel from Ashaiman. I acknowledge the action of the Minister Henry. I wish he will extend it to Ashaiman as well for free flow of traffic. Kiki Jan says, I'm really in love with what happened yesterday about clean your frontage, but we can't sustain, have the balls to continue this great effort, all in the name of politics. Kudos, by the way. Thank you, Kiki, for sending us that. Good morning. The cleanest city in Ghana is Cape Coast. Amoakwando from Gomoa in Kwantanan is saying that. So 1 vote for Cape Coast. So if you are not voting, Asumdre will forever be remembered. May also chiefs were in charge of certain things in communities where the was clean. If the chiefs are allowed to handle certain activities, there wouldn't be any problem at all. And he's voting, Himmel is voting the cleanest city in Ghana to be Jura Eshiem. So 1 vote for Jura there. More messages. Do I have time, Cap? Cleanest city in Ghana is Sunyani. So 3 votes for Sunyani already. Ho is the cleanest capital city in Ghana. More votes coming in for Ho. Good morning. What happens after Operation Clean Your Frontage? What are the measures in place to sustain it? I strongly believe it's an eye service and a 9-day wonder. Nana Kweku PSA is saying that from Tema. And of course, he's voting the cleanest city in Ghana as the Harbour City. Tema for real. He says C8, so community aid. Indiscipline and irresponsibility have become integral parts of our lives. Who should be responsibility to clean their surroundings and find a better way to dispose of, like we do in our homes. Michael says that from Teshi. I'm going to scroll to the top and see. Oh, I have so much more. Good morning, the beautiful lady reading the better and everyone in the studio. Thank you. Good morning to you too. More. Good morning, GTV. I'm voting Cape Coast as the cleanest city. So another vote in here for Cape Coast. Here's one about Magdan. Good morning. Until all outstanding issues and challenges are resolved for the good of Ghana. Kwabena says that from Kumasi. Hi, I'm Mohammed from Tamale, currently in Adabraka. Operation Clean Your Frontage. I rep Tamale. So Mohammed is voting Tamale as the cleanest city in Ghana. And oh, this. Hey, good. Yes, 1 vote for the capital.
Cleaners, the people who clean the city. Cleaners. It's cleaners. Oh.
It means there's an S missing somewhere. Can I just celebrate 1 vote for Accra?
1 for Accra.
Okay, the Operation Clean Your Front is a good initiative, but what provisions have been made for the market women who sell on the pavement? Bright is asking from Dansoman. Don't have time for more. This one saying the NPP is delivering their promises. Ghana will work again and sending shouts to their friends. Perhaps the last. We should all help to sustain it as corporate citizens, and GBC should take the lead as a national station to drum this home on the show every morning to sustain it, because it's a good initiative. Thank you for sending that message to us. Richard says Accra is the cleanest for sugar reasons. Look, whatever reason, we are voting Accra. Thank you for sending us that, Richard. And is there more? Winneba is the cleanest. Look, you see now my hometown people have come. Yesterday we got the MP for Winneba here, and he answered some questions. I think that was on Monday. Yes, so the city battle is continuing. We're trying to find which is the cleanest city, but people also really concerned about what's happening at the airport. Yes. And of course, other issues dominating the headlines with regards to Operation Frontage also dominating our questions. So I'll hand it over back to you, KK.
Yes, I'm enjoying your vibe and your vim, Thelma. Before I come to my guests, Cleaner City in Accra on Twitter at Kafui Day. Let me plug myself. Abi Hohwe from Slimun Music says Hohwe gets 1 vote. De facto says Sunyani. Alex Dogba says what is relative? Which one organizes quarterly cleanup exercises in every community? Which city practices waste separation? He's very technical for me. Elton Nana Amwa Jr. says Sunyani. I heard. He doesn't know, but he heard. Nana Basao Blaze says probably be Sunyani if it qualifies as a city. It does qualify as a city. Thank you very much. Theo says Accra and tell happy and celebrate with Kenke and Fish in the afternoon. E-Levy says, hey, you are calling E-Levy. Wow. Ilevi says, these are the shots we see at Tema Newtown. So clean. Very ironic picture there with lots of rubbish. Efo Cantona says, even if there are no pictures to be shown, trust me, no city can be compared to Sunyani. You will love it. I've been to Sunyani. I know the vibe is there, but Charlie, hold the lead. Takashi, Vim, and Prayers. Charlie, you guys on Twitter, you are just a different breed. It says, Choco. Oh. Niphobia. No city is clean in Ghana. Sako, the non-living thing. Says Ho. Ayon says Sunyani and Keta. Yeah, the Keta beach is really, really. I was there some time ago. Really loved it. On the streets, says Sunyani. Kwanzaa Dave says you go there and now you listen what others they say. Responding to somebody's tweets there. Alex Dogba says it's past glory. Ho is past glory. Sina says Sunyani. So lots of votes for Sunyani and Ho. There's one vote here for Akosombo as well. But
this one says it has to be Asin Kushia, where you never see just even a wrapper of chewing gum. Asin Kushia, and he says the chief there is Ihunabubrim Pra Ajinsem the Sixth. That's Sam Jonas' older brother. And he's added that the chief ensures that every child of school-going age gets a free egg a day.
He's doing his own school feeding thing there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Asim Kushia.
Yes.
We're going to keep an eye.
Ehunabubrim Pra Ajinsem the Sixth, or Rinchimaihene, and his people say Asim Kushia is without a doubt the cleanest city, town, or village in the whole of Africa.
We are going to send our keep an eye ambassador Alan to go and verify. They say trust in God, but the rest we verify.
I want to be very pragmatic.
Yes.
Airports. In front of the police station.
Yes.
When you're a visitor, you come from Kotoka International Airport. You come and meet this wonderful edifice of the airport, what do you call it?
The runabout?
No. The
arrival hall?
No. I'm talking about the airport village or whatever it's called. Yes? Beautiful. You drive down. You get to the traffic light, and what do you see? Hawkers, beggars, forex operators.
Yes.
Have you seen the litter that they generate? And when you go right opposite the police station in the median, there are signage that says, no parking, no this, no that. Right in front of the police station. This has been happening for donkey years. It's not an issue that started today. It's got even worse today. So this is the image we have of Ghana when you look gateway to Africa. And we say we have bylaws, enforcement in front of a police station. We can't handle that street for how many years? And we say we want to do what?
We'll do it.
Are you sure? There has to be a radical approach to this. You know, when China was going to hold the Olympics, you know the Chinese have a problem. They spit anyhow. Even when they are eating their food, they spit on in the plate that they are eating. It's a habit. I went to China, entered a lift.
Are you serious? In a lift?
In the lift. From the belly. What is that?
Yeah.
And it took them to have to ban spitting because the Europeans would not understand the concept of spitting. To clear your and for a health issue.
You acted it too well. I mean, it's
too normal. They had to ban it. They had to ban it.
And they banned it.
If we want to get serious in this country, there are some measures that we must take.
I mean, it's discipline. I mean, one case of corona can shut down the whole city in China. So
my God,
that's the kind of discipline that.
How long are we going to look? 10 years from now, we have teeth in your mouth. Bring us back. We'll be talking about the same issue.
Listen, let's deal with one last topic before we have our next conversation.
How you acted that thing?
We'll have a breakfast afterwards.
We'll request one cameo performance by Oscar before we go, man. It was just great.
Are you rehearsing this last night?
I mean, that was an audition. You won. Black man in China.
truth.
I know. I lived there for 5 years. I know what you're talking about.
Gospel
yeah,
truth.
I know. They just were spitting by heart, but they've dealt with it now. No more spitting. Let's deal with corruption. Because the front page of today's graphic, I have just about 3 minutes on this. Just quick thoughts. There's a 10-year study on corruption prevalence, and they say unregulated party financing is to blame. My question is, now who caused some? Who is supposed to be regulating party financing? I know you're not both politicians.
Regulator. Judges.
Yes, indeed.
The people, the upbringing before the education. So, as for corruption, there are those who say it can't leave us. And I tell them that's BS. It can leave us. And I always use myself as an example. I have never taken a bribe. I have never taken payola. My father has never taken a bribe. My father has never taken payola. If you choose not to do certain things, you will not do them. Too many people in positions of authority have chosen to do certain things so they cannot punish others who do the same. It's that simple. And I don't know, but until we get people in position, there's a story that's told of Atta Mills, and when I say this, my friends, on the other side of the aisle get upset that, well, why do you tell the story? And I said, because you know it too. That somebody tried to bribe him and he told him, na enyim baby also children's home. In chair was car, it too is a common. And he just refused to take the money.
Meaning, if you know where the children's home is.
Don't you know where the Osu Children's Home is? If you have money to give away, give it to them. I'm a Macau. I'm a minje bribe. How many politicians do you know in Ghana who could say this? Whether in NDC, MPP, or CPP. And these are the people, and I'll remind you again, not the smartest people in the country, but the people who have put themselves up to lead. And we have selected the best amongst those who put themselves up to lead. How of them are clear in their minds that they will turn down a bribe and they'll say no to corruption? If they don't change, nothing will change. Because if the police that is policing the public are the thieves in mischief, what is the public to do?
Good questions.
Yes, I believe that there is a party finance law somewhere in there. I know that parties have to declare their finances. They're not supposed to get donations from foreign bodies and things like that. We need clarity on that, so maybe you should bring an expert to discuss this. But at the heart of all of this is the cost of financing campaigns and politics. I mean, if today the CDD says that on the average you spend between $85,000 to $100,000, that's somewhere in 2018-20. Now they're saying you have to spend maybe about 2 million cedis for a campaign. Where do you get that money from? And let's stop kidding ourselves. Democracy is not cheap. Obama raised over $700 million. $1, $2, $1, and of course he got corporate here, 2,000 here, and other things. But the bottom line is, politics is expensive, exceedingly expensive. Whether we like it or not, whether we are giving fridges and all kinds of things to delegates trying to bribe 50 CDs for a vote or whatever it is.
Screens, brother.
Yeah, no, it's going. I know it's getting worse and worse. But the matter of fact is that politics is expensive. But you see, when it comes to party financing, I don't understand why the members of the party are not the base collection of
I guess it's faster to pick money from people who have lots of cash.
If you have citizens that support you, they should be contributing.
All right.
This talk about the state financing political parties.
You don't buy it.
I don't buy it.
All right. Oscar,
if you're worth your salt and you want to become president of this country,
let people contribute.
You should be able to rally around and raise finance.
Awesome.
If you are unable to do that, how can you do it for the country?
Just park.
You can't do it for your party, you can do it for the country.
I wish this conversation could continue.
There is no freedom. So I think that we should have a major conversation on this
party financing.
Thank you,
Oscar.
Because it's really getting
Provençal and King Kwesi Chedakwa for being my guests on the headlines for this Wednesday, the 2nd of February. Coming up next is a conversation between Sir Alex Percival at Segbefia, chairman of the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage, which was launched yesterday. We'll sit down with Thelma to talk about the ins and outs of that organization. Keep your comments coming in 055-556-1034. You are watching GTV Breakfast. Keep your votes coming in. Cleaner City in Accra, we want to know. You stay with us. It's coming up next with Mr. Segbefia and Ms. Taki.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Watching me, you come 1 week, Mr. Oh, now, Nade, singer, name me and you more cut down my business are collapse. I'm out. Such a quick credit, Jinka. Quick credit, yes, quick credit. Who Pesica, Eddie Astati, you may be. Who here be seen Eddie at true Gedium. We are government and our private car. Who Pesica, they are two horses. We are Bosumi Juma. Who yes, Sicania be being tempers. Quick credit, be more room and what you are in Kakaka. Now, a little some Cassian said, and you call free loaner, Susu, savings, account opening, and a depositor same BLO. Here and say, Ghana card. 2022 year, 1 year Juma, now 1 hour young. Who need excuse here? To 03022 00390 and 05969 20833. But see that quick critical sort to
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the box?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Botras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Mind you, that I didn't even know how to translate into
The John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage is a non-profit, non-partisan organization which seeks to preserve and build on the legacies of the late President John Evans Atta Mills. It was established by a group of academics, professional colleagues, students, family and appointees of President Mills. The late J.E.A. Mills, the third president of the Fourth Republic, served as president from January 8, 2009 to July 24, 2012. The chairman of the JEA Heritage Board, Mr. Alex Segbefia, said the organization will deepen the legacy of President Mills' excellence in law, taxation and sports.
The highlight of the lecture will be a major lecture to commemorate the 10th anniversary of his death in July, month in which he died. The activities will also include infrastructure projects, sporting activities, academic scholarships, especially in the areas of law and taxation, will also be arranged.
Speaker after speaker eulogized the late Professor Mills' passion and commitment to inclusivity, transparency, accountability and his relentless quest for peace and better society. Former President John Dramani Mahama was happy about the establishment of the JEA Heritage, saying that the organization would build on Professor Mills' legacies.
Prof detested comrades undermining each other. He had a practice of detaining the person who had come to make a negative report about a colleague to him. He detained you in his office. He quickly had the colleague about whom the report had been made brought to his office quickly. He then asked the one who had made the report to repeat what he had just told him. And in Ghanaian parlance, we say, come and see stammering. Nana Chairman, my brothers and sisters, many more recollections of this inspirational son of the land are the reasons Prof was and still loved by so many.
The organization would also engage in charity work and build the President J. brand as a model servant leader who invested in his people.
Listen to my voice. Do I look and sound like a hunter?
husband, father, lecturer, legal scholar, politician, vice president, and then president. With all that titles, he simply became known to many as the Asumjehene. His calm demeanor and his wit won many hearts around the world, and in Ghana, the people who worked closely with him continue to share stories as many as almost 10 years after he left our shores. The man, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills, is being immortalized, and the John Evans Atta-Mills Memorial Heritage has been launched to raise awareness about things that he stood for, his legacy in law, taxation, and economics. At the table this morning, Sir Alex Segbefia, former Deputy Chief of Staff and Chairman of the John Atta-Mills Memorial Heritage, has joined us at the table to talk about the man, J.E.A. Mills. Good morning, Sir Segbefia, welcome.
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers.
And thank you for joining us and for what you're doing to honor of our former president.
Thank you. And I should say at this juncture, it's a group of people. I just happen to be the representative or the chairman at this moment, but there are so many people involved in this, and congratulations to all of them for what happened yesterday.
So my question for you would be that this man has served in all these capacities that I've named, and you still find the need to do something to immortalize him. Do you think what he's done has not been highlighted enough, and is this why this heritage is kicking off?
Professor Mills is like an ocean. You know, when you have a ship and you're on the ocean, all that expanse of water, sometimes you think you're on your own. Before long, you meet a trawler. After that, you meet a super tanker. Then you come across a cruise liner and you realize that there is space for everybody in the ocean. That is Professor Mills. He's so big now that I wouldn't be surprised to see an organization come forward soon saying, we want to put up an organization for sports alone in the name of Mills. Another organization will come up some years down the line and say that we think that we want to do something in academia. Some group may come up and say, look, the kind of faith and God-fearing person he was, we want to do something in the Christian faith for Atta-Mills. They all should be welcome so long as they are promoting the principles, values, and ideals of this great son of our land.
What exactly is the agenda here to, what do you want to execute in this process?
Well, we just felt after the 9th anniversary, a group of people just felt we were doing annual lectures, and we felt that that was not enough. We are actually the 4th organization to come out. The Heritage is the 4th. And so others are trying to do something with regard to Prof, and we commend all of them. But we felt that there was still other things that could be done. And that is how, after the 9th anniversary, we decided, look, let's sit down, think about it, see how we could put together an organization, and that led to the birth of the John Evans Atta-Mills Memorial Heritage.
I'm glad you're mentioning these other organizations, because one of the very iconic ones is led by your colleague, the Koko Anyidoho, and he's done quite a bit. He's at the table with us to talk about some of the things that he's doing to keep the memory of Professor Mills alive, including things he's doing at his burial site at Asumdwe Park. Yes. Why not partner with organizations such as Koko Anyidoho's one? Why this separate project?
There's a Ghanaian saying that too much meat never spoils the soup. So long as it's good meat, you can continue to add and people are happy. But more importantly, I always answer this in a very simplistic way.
every political party in Ghana is set up to try and improve the lives of Ghanaians. That's what we all say. CPP, MPP, NDC, PNC. We will come and improve the lives of Ghanaians. So if I'm supposed to follow your analogy, why don't we just have a one-party state? Why don't we all just come together and have a one-party state? Because that is what we all want to do. But there are different approaches, different mindset, all trying to head in the right direction. And so the same with Atta Mills. He covered many facets, as I've already explained, and you heard in our delivery yesterday. And so we will always commend and encourage those who are already in the space, those who want to come and join the space, so long as you are promoting the values, principles, and ideals of Professor Mills. And that, for me, is the simplistic answer to this. It's not
there's
about...
no beef, there's no animosity.
At least, no, absolutely none. As far as I'm concerned. I've known Koku for years. Koku comes from, his mother comes from our hometown. He's from Anyako. So I have no issue, even though his father is from Taniwe. It's not an issue as far as I'm concerned. And everything that goes to promoting Atta Mills should be done. And we wanted also to try as much as possible, it's not possible, but to try as much as possible to make politics the last consideration. If you look at the array of speakers we put together, if you look at the people who have helped and contributed towards this, if you look at the nature of this, you come to realize that, yes, this is a body that is trying to be as non-partisan as possible. There's no politics as much as we can help it, as the main purpose of this organization. So come one, come all, and join us, celebrate this great son.
What new thing are you bringing to the table then in all this? Since you've mentioned that others have done some things already, what's new then?
You would realize that there were a number of things that happened, started, unfinished, trying to be finished, already in existence. But there is not a real drive to start new things. And there's good reason for that. Sometimes in these things, no matter how much goodwill you have to be able to get a brand, go out there, gather funds, and then do what you want. So on our table, we have a number of activities. We mentioned broadly scholarships, sports centers, academia, and governance, areas like that, in which we want to do new innovative things that would help us keep his legacy alive. So once we've now done the launch, we'll go back to the drawing board, and we are going to concentrate in making sure the structure is in place, in reaching out to anyone and everyone, making sure that we play the rules, and to try and ensure that it is not, doesn't become or be seen as a political tool for one side or the other, in order that everybody can feel free to come into it, knowing that this is about Atta Mills and no other individual.
Until his sudden passing in 2012, and after he became the first president of the Republic to pass away whilst in office, you had served as his former deputy chief of staff.
That's correct.
And so what do you reckon are some of his legacies that should never be forgotten and be immortalized, hence will be picked on by the JEM Institute?
I think all was said yesterday, but I'll just pick on a few. One of the major things that was said yesterday, for a man of his stature, his caliber, in fact, of his intellect, he was an extremely good listener. No matter who it was, he wouldn't immediately blurt out an opinion. He would listen to you, find out what you thought, he would mull it over, and then he would come out with a suggestion. But he had a view, and in your talking to him, he was trying to find out whether you were going to say enough. But he had a view. And in your talking to him, he was trying to find out whether you were going to say enough to change his view. So he wasn't rigid that way. If you gave him good reason as to why you had a particular position, he would take it on board. But once he made a decision after hearing everybody, he was firm and resolute in executing. And that's why we were able to do so many projects in just 3.5 years. Because that is what his time span was. Because he could execute. He ensured that things happened. He followed it through. He asked questions. After the first 2 years, he made it clear that after I'm going to all the districts. Our district chief executives, we've given you certain targets and goals. I'm coming. He did a tour. He went around every district to see whether they were just talking or they had actually delivered. So he put them under a lot of pressure. And that, by doing so, he also demonstrated to Ghanaians that actually your MP under the current dispensation we have is not really responsible for and shout it out in the tape. He just went and said, DC, come and explain. So quickly it began to sink that a dual role, the MP and the DC, they had their particular role, they had it, and he had empowered it, which is a good example of local governance, diversification. I could go on and on about what he did very quietly, without shouting, but you saw it happening and therefore you recognize it as this is the path we are going. He immediately knew there were issues with our constitution. He put together a fantastic constitutional review commission made up of people from all the walks of life. It wasn't partisan anyway. And they came up with a rather good document, which we still as to where it is, what we're going to do. Yet it is clear from our constitution that there are some changes that are needed. However, I also take the point on board that was made by the main speaker, Kwame Pieni. Sometimes, if you write too much, but the people you are dealing with are not prepared to implement it in the right manner, you can write the cows come home, nothing will change. So, also the need to lead by example and show that this is what you expect. And there wasn't a better leader by example than Professor Mills. He was extremely frugal. This was not part of his lifestyle. He was very, very God-fearing. He always thought about the impact on people and not the impact on himself. So these are just but a few of his attributes. I could go on and on.
Why has it taken you 10 years then? Because it sounds like a fountain that's just bubbling and a volcano that's just bursting to erupt. So why has it been this long in the making for your group to put together?
There are several number of reasons that is to this question. Sometimes when you want to do something properly, think about it in time.
10 years?
What is 10 years when you want to do something that is supposed to last 100 years? What is 10 years? It's because in our lives, we measure everything by our lifespan. But that's what we are trying to do. We are not doing it for the next 20 years and then when we are all gone, it should be forgotten. No. Today we talk about Kwame Nkrumah. Mausoleum is there. But if they had done a proper foundation or heritage, it will even be bigger. And what is significant, I'm saying that, certain people are like the ocean. It's done in other countries. Oh, the way they talk about Kwame Nkrumah in other countries, they set up university blocks, they have a whole department on Kwame in some in the States, etc., etc. People have embraced him in a way where he is growing, regardless of all the contemporaries and his people who he worked with not being alive, but for a few. So when you say 10 years, is because you and I are measuring it on our lifespan and where we are. Oh, such a long time, 10 years. No. When you're dealing with a memorial and dealing with somebody's legacy, 10 years is actually not that long. Somebody asked the same question of rolling. And I said, even now to think about a foundation, yes, people will start. But some of us are still in mourning. We can't believe it's a year, it's gone. It's almost like, really? So somebody would have said, oh, but now you should have started. No. Let's exhale. Think it through. Don't do it emotionally. Be clear in your mind what you want to achieve, and then go for it. And it does involve some level of planning and focus. And in situations like that, there's always temperatures. People are emotional, people are, let us try and get that to settle. And then let's do the right thing by the person. So I think it's come at the right time. What is significant though is in that 10 years we're not holding. We've had lectures almost every year except for the previous 2 because of COVID. But they have lectures, there have been activities, there have been other institutions doing what they have to do. So he has not been left out. He's still, all this is another notch in the rug. And looking back at what happened yesterday, I think the timing is perfect.
Perfect timing in your estimation. I wonder though, at the risk of being told you're mourning more than the bereaved, the immediate family of Professor Mills are the ones who would feel, rightfully so, the most loss at his demise. Yeah. What's the family engagement in this heritage that you've put together? What's the extent of the family's engagement?
Well, you would notice that on the board of directors, we have Sammy Mills, who is a brother to President Mills. He's now the MP, an MP, Member of Parliament. You would notice that on our advisory council, we have Dr. Cadman Mills, who also worked in the government under Professor Mills. We had also made contact with Nadu. Unfortunately, she wasn't in town at the time, but she's aware of the, that's not just dealing with the family, but of his wife. So we made contact with all. You had family members present. Everybody is aware of what we are trying to do. And like I said, it's not about this group or that group. Focus. What are you going to do and for who? Atta Mills. Anything Atta Mills, we encourage. Anything to do with promoting what he has done and his legacy, we encourage. And once again we say, anybody who wants to join us, be part of this, come. Bring your ideas. We don't say we know it all. And in the future, they will say, okay, you had the tenure as the board, they will change board members, they will change the advisory council. It is to make sure at the end of the day that it is not the individuals that are the focus. It's an institution that must grow with time, expand, and stand the test of time, so that when in 50 years' time a student is in a school and they say, oh, your former president, John Averton, oh, that humble man, straight off his head. He wasn't there, he doesn't remember. But he's read it, he's heard about it, he's been to a school where some have got scholarships in the name of Atta Mills, and he has been educated as to what this man did for this country, which we all should try and emulate for the future.
You've mentioned the board, so there's a board of directors
yes,
that's been put in place.
The 4-member board, and with the secretary, I'm the chairman of the board. We have Dr. Sherry Aite, you have Honorable Sisi Kwenu, you have Sammy Mills, who I've mentioned, Honorable Sammy Mills, and then you have Nana Oye Bambo, who is the secretary to the board, and she was part of the program. Fantastic, hard-working lady.
Should I presume then that there will be like an office space where all these people will work?
Technically, yes.
Is there a plan for where this will be situated? Because
yes, we have an office at the moment, which we are working from in the East Legon area near America House. As I've said, this is a properly formed body, limited by guarantee, registered properly, and that is all part of the statement I made. And we are also then now going to have the body, or the, should I say, the functional group. So there will be a chief executive officer, etc., because we are actually the board, and we are going to fill out all that space and then grow. But little steps, but we know where our vision wants to take us. We are clear about that.
So I'm thinking that there might be like a library plan in there as well, because the good prof loved to read. In fact, he was an astute teacher.
There's already a library issue which was being dealt with in Cape Coast.
Exactly why I was making the point.
But for me, the reason why I'm saying that, let's not look, we are not going to look too much as to, we'll cover certain things, but we'll only consult and see how best we can help. It's about what we want to do that is new. There are already existing issues like the library. What we can do to help, we would. There are question marks as to whether something is government's responsibility or something is private responsibility. And when you look at the library, you have to look at the Monuments Committee and what the recommendations that have been made regarding things that belong to or are aspiring towards former presidents and presidents. So the Asumdue Park, for example, is a government responsibility, any way you look at it. The military cemetery where others are buried is a government responsibility. So is Asumdue Park. So you can get involved, push, but you must go to government to get government to get involved. And so that's where you check to see where does the library fit in. But that cannot be the focus of our attention on this. Our focus is, okay, so if the library was finished in a month's time, then what? You have to run it, you have to get it, but don't do other things. How do we raise the funding for scholarships? Which areas of scholarship?
How do you intend to raise funding for all the projects that you intend to embark on?
So we will raise funds. I mean, we are not we have people who are experts in these forms of organizations, foundations, and heritage. So we will definitely seek advice. The important thing about fundraising is transparency. You need to let people, and this is not for profit organization, excuse me, so people have to be clear in their mind that the money they are putting in is going to be well used and for what purpose. And so far, we are getting a lot of positive response from people who are interested in being associated with this great program.
We are talking to Mr. Alex Segba. He's former Deputy Chief of Staff and Chairman of the John Atta Mills Memorial Heritage, and he's helping us understand what they have set out to do when it comes to utilizing our former President J.E.A. Mills. And you can join the conversation via WhatsApp number 055-56130 if you have questions about what the Heritage is doing and about how you can support or take part. Sebefia is here and he's answering your questions. We'll be reading some of your comments in a little while. Perhaps let's take it back a bit to 10 years, almost 10 years ago. You worked closely with Professor Mills. What's your fondest memory of him?
Well, I have many fond memories of Professor Mills. He had a fantastic sense of humor. And so anytime you're with him, you couldn't have, you would never leave the room without having a laugh. He had his serious side when it came to work, and one of the things which was by African or Ghanaian standards was his punctuality. If we were going to leave the castle at say 9 o'clock, you better be in your car by 5 to 9, because the cars will move at 9 o'clock. By 2 minutes to 9, we'll start walking down the stairs, and you'd see everybody helter-skelter. Because when he got into the car, closed his door, the driver drove. And if you missed the convoy, that was the end of it. The only advantage he had, or helped us sometimes, was he always slowed down his convoy. He wasn't into very fast convoys. He would give an instruction, we are moving too fast, slow down. Where are we going? Slow down. That was him. He would get to a place, you know, what happens with some of these large convoys is that you start off from the castle with 8 cars. You get to a region. When you leave one constituency, everybody in that constituency joins you to go to the next one. You get to the third one, you go and others join you.
And the convoy keeps going.
Before you know it, you have a 40-car convoy. Prof would just stop the car, instruct the security. The 8 cars will move. Everybody is stopped. He'll get to the next place and then he say, oh, the rest can come. So you move without a police escort. You get there. So he encouraged people to stay where they were. He came to see those people. They should have time for him. He was an extremely unique, fantastic leader and a very hard act to follow, which put pressure on President Mahama and even more now on Nana Addo, because people have seen it. It's not like they say. We've lived it, we've seen it. So there's a comparison straight. You can stop people from comparing. But it's not political. All we are saying is, if people are saying what he did as a person and a president is good, then do it. Let's continue to do it. Because that is what we as a people want. And the way to begin to inculcate this into everybody is to begin to educate people and keep his name and his speeches in the public domain. For people to remember that it's not as impossible as it looks. Somebody did it. And his name is Professor John Evans Atta Mills, popularly known as Ejata.
I just remember how soft-spoken he was, but we also found out that he was also a very, very strict disciplinarian, and he would not back down on something he thought was the right thing and which needed to be done.
For most people, you know what is right and what is wrong. You refuse to do the right thing because it's not politically correct or it's not. I mean, Mr. Pianim said a lot of truths yesterday and said, look, I'm into politics. If you ask me to go into a meeting in a restaurant and I had to sit with, for example, let me say Ken Oforiatta. I went to school with Ken Oforiatta. My brother was one of his best friends when my brother was alive. We are on both sides of the political divide. But if I went to a restaurant now with Ken Oforiatta and we had lunch, we will both be vilified by both our political parties by the time that lunch was over. We won't even get to our homes and it will be all over the place. Sibifia is writing a deal with Ken Oforiatta. Ken Oforiatta is now a sellout. This, that, from our various. So you try and shy away from being seen with the other side. The only place where it's done and there appears to be no problem is because it's in Parliament. Because in Parliament, they all have sit in the same place. They go into. So Parliament, I've always said, the Parliament is the best example of what should be happening outside. But it doesn't happen.
Perhaps that's why we see what we see, because the public does not get to see the interactions that you mentioned between you, obviously a prominent member of the NDC, and Mr. Ken Oforiatta, now Finance Minister, because the public does not see those engagements. It feeds into an idea of tensions or acrimony or animosity between the two parties.
It is also a tool that is used. You see, in any political sphere, people are jostling for attention, position, recognition. And this, all they are looking for is already filled by people. So the mindset is, instead of working hard and keeping your till the opportunity comes, people insist on creating the opportunity. And the way to create, you know, this is why statements you make are very dangerous sometimes. So if you go on a platform, and forgive, I don't want to be political, but it's the best example of how certain things can escalate beyond your imagination. If you go on a political platform and say to a group of people, when I come, I will make you a chief. We all know that chieftaincy in most places is for life. And as a chief sitting in the chair, what are you promising him? Now, it was just a political statement. Then halfway through your tenure, the chief dies through an internal fight. Why wouldn't people point fingers at you? They will immediately say, you promised him. You have brought him. And it took us how many years to begin to resolve that issue. So, political space and jostling amongst us, both internally and externally, is a problem. And it has gotten worse. That is why Kwame Penny's statement yesterday was profound. You had to have something. Professor Mills says, come, sit beside me. Let's talk. Everybody knew Kwame Penny is MPP. He himself said, I'm MPP. Everybody knows. But the president didn't deal with him as a person and what he had to offer. Not. And in hard political balance, it's unacceptable. After all, part of the acrimony between former President Rawlings and President Mills was part of this. Your father, for all concepts, does not really work in the Ghanaian setting. Slow down, deal with certain issues. And that, I'm just being candid, that was part of the acrimony. Yet, Ejata stood his ground, and President Rawlings respected him for it. That is the other spot. We can have our spot, but he respected him for it because he stood his ground and said, this is what I want as the #1 gentleman of the land.
And today, I have no doubt that perhaps the two leaders will be sitting together watching us right now as we talked about this, and they would, I bet the good prof will be trying to make him out of the whole thing. And I can just imagine that boisterous laugh from former President Rawlings, and he would just
have he's booming.
A good laugh. He's just look at what Sigurd is talking about. But then the prof could be witty, but he could also be very stern. And we saw that when he visited the Tema Port unannounced, and oh boy, that I think we have some visuals. Let's flash back to the time when former President Atta Mills visited Tema Port.
I'm really upset, and I think that I should let you know. I was waiting for the announced video to be shown, and that confirmed the reports that I've been having all along. Officers of Customs, you are Ghanaian citizens. You have to help us to build a better Ghana. But if this is the kind of behavior, this is the kind of attitude that you have, you are not helping us in any way. Indeed, today, I came to express my disgust and my revulsion at the way some of you are helping to erode the benefits that we are making or we have to give to our people. You are in charge of revenue. Every day we hear reports about malpractices. People collecting bribes with careless abandon. People who think that they are entitled to take bribes. How can we get rid of corruption? I'm not saying that nobody should appreciate the work that you are doing. But when you make it a condition, somebody should give you some money before you perform your duties. I've known Customs for quite some time. I was Commissioner of Internal Revenue. And the announced video confirmed the fears I've had for quite some time. Look at yourself. I want to talk very frankly to you. Somebody joins customs, 2-3 years, the person is putting up a building. The person owns a car. In what organization will it take you 3 years to build? And it is not the exception. It is the rule. Very often, my Minister for Finance is worried about the fiscal gap that we have. And your duty is to collect, to display transparency in the way you operate. And I'm happy with the initiative that General Modi has taken. And I give him my full support. My brothers and sisters, let me be very honest with you. If it means transferring everybody, I will give him the authority to do so. If it means changing all the people in customs, I will do so. Because we do not owe anybody anything. But I know there are good people amongst you. The good people should be influencing the bad ones. Because your reputation now has been soiled. And this is something that we have known all along. And I want to use this occasion to send a signal to your colleagues at Aflao. I'm aware of what they are doing. And very soon we'll descend on them. And then DVLA, one of these days, they will find me there.
Former President John Evans Atta Mills, in February of 2011, made that unannounced visit to Tema Port following a Tiger IPI report on bribery and corruption allegations against officials of the port. And the allegation was they were colluding with some agents and institutions to defraud the state of millions of Ghana cedis. The president was not happy, and in that video there was no sign of the witty, peace-loving Asumje Hene that people say, oh, the humble. He was just very, very upset, and he was just spewing fire all over, saying, we will transfer you, we are coming to get you, we will find you, and you pay the price for what you're doing. And
not surprising at all. Why? I said from the beginning that President Atta Mills was a God-fearing person. Why is this significant now? When Jesus Christ got to the temple and people were selling in the temple, he took a whip and sacked them all. This is the house of the Lord. So we know him as our Savior. They say if you want to see a perfect gentleman, show me Jesus Christ. Yet he took a whip. So when wrong things are being done at a certain point, you must speak out.
Credits to TV3 for that video that we just showed of the former president at Tema Port. There are messages that have come in as well. And
can I just make one comment?
Okay.
We have been lucky because actually when it comes to discipline, Rawlings wasn't far off as well. He didn't take, unless he didn't hear it. But if he heard it, he would appear at places.
If he heard it, you would hear it.
Definitely. So we have been lucky, at least in that vein. And don't forget, President Mills was his vice president before he became president. He also learned a lot from that experience. So I'm just blessed to have worked for the 3.5 years I worked before him before. But as when President Mills was president, I was the deputy chief of staff, and I saw leadership, good leadership, and that is what we lack today.
Right. Kath,
yes, indeed. Messages indeed 0555561034. Kobe says, short one. Great leaders indeed die very early. Now, George in Kwabenya says, good morning to you and your guest, Alex. Though not an NDC sympathizer, I wish to say unequivocally that Professor Mills epitomized selfless leadership far above those who preceded or came after him. You never value what you have until you lose it. Well done, Alex and team. Chairman, thank you very much for your dedication
to this work. Monies have been spent on the Atta Mills Memorial Library at Cape Coast. You know how it will generate funds to support other people apart from getting knowledge from the library. Please, let's put all those long talks of it aside and see to it that finally settled and open. Most of the things would have been destroyed, right from the fence, which is now being destroyed, to the equipment inside. Now it's UCC security and other people who sleep around the area. For God's sake, Chairman, please do your best to open it for public use. That's a message there. Mena says, good morning, Thelma, Sophia. This initiative of the Atta Mills Heritage is a great one, worthy of emulation. Ghana, let's celebrate heroic Ghanaians. Politics. So those are a couple of messages that we have for you. Do you have any power over the Cape Coast Library?
I do not believe we do, but in conjunction with government, something can come out properly. And if government even gives you the go-ahead to go on your own, then obviously we can get involved at that stage.
Okay. All right. Take it back to you.
Okay. So I'm guessing from all the things that you've said that when you heard or when you were informed about the passing of the former president, it must have come as some bit of a shock to you. As you recall the memories from that day, what does it inspire you to do going forward in this journey with the heritage?
Well, significantly, when I was with President Hama at the launch of an activity at the conference center, we all left and I went back to my office. On my way to my office, when I got to the car park, I heard that President Mills had passed. The first person I called was actually Kokwan Yudo.
You heard from who?
It was in the airwaves. Okay. I mean, people were commenting, not on the radio, but oh, have you heard President Mills has passed? So I called Koku, and I only asked him the moment he answered the phone, I just said, Nyatepeya, and he said, eh.
Is it true?
Yes. Is it true? He said yes. And that was the end of the conversation. Nothing more, nothing less. 2 words. Nyatepeya. He said, eh. And I put the phone down. That was it. And for me, what became clear or interesting over the next couple of weeks was I couldn't believe that we were talking about the same man in the public. And Mr. Pianim was right. There wasn't a president, even though they all say it, no one was vilified more than President Mills. He was vilified, insulted, all kinds of names, even down to his prayer camp in the castle, etc. But the moment he died in that 3 weeks, all of a sudden, the parlance that you don't speak ill of death, that became a reality for me. I saw it. Everybody, regardless of the political divide, had not a single bad word to say about Professor Mills. And people started speaking truth as to what he had done, what he had achieved, and I was gratified. I realized that it was right for me to have left my job, come and work for this man.
Mr. Sebufia, how do people support this heritage?
Well, the financial aspect, as I said, we want to be transparent. We have a bank account. We are looking at other ways in which people can contribute without any questions as to where the money has gone, what the issues are coming up. So over the next couple of weeks, if not earlier, we will give out details. We also want to know who has contributed, unless the person wants to remain anonymous. So we will accept checks, we will accept direct payments into the bank account. We will look at other issues or other ways of raising funds. But we wouldn't spend too much, if not within a week, within 2 weeks. But we can be made contact with. We'll direct you to Nana Oye, who will collect it. Everybody who has contributed to make this happen will be contacted. And I'm saying openly here, thank you to all of you in advance. But we'll do it properly in the form of a letter, and we have to visit, and we will go and visit and say thank you to those who have made it possible. And that's where we are.
More engagements coming in from our WhatsApp platform. And CAF?
Yes.
More?
Yes, indeed. 0555561034. How Arthur Mills responded to corruption versus how Nana responds to corruption. I'll say no more. Very cryptic message there. Let's see. Indeed, Asumdre Hine needs to be celebrated is one message there. Jonathan Povey says, Prof. Mills died on my birthday and I still remember his fight against corruption. Today we have the opposite all over because this government fears to talk about it all. Corruption issues have been swept. And then Freddie remembers the time when Professor Mills as president took his time to explain the terms bribery and corruption to Kwame Sefakai. Prof. Mills is the best in this Fourth Republic. Much love. You said that we've made you lose your appetite. Oh, don't be so sad for showing the Professor Mills video. So thank you so much. 0555561034. Because I think still the issues are going on with our customs friends and things. Well, we'll still keep fighting and talking about those issues. But, well, it was good on Professor Mills to highlight the issues and bring them to our attention. Professor Mills, we surely miss you. And that's it. Manuel Mevonau. Yes, good people do not just disappear like that. So yeah, those are the messages coming in. 0555561034. Keep them coming in.
Let me just say one thing. People don't understand the intellect of the man. To cut a long story short, I have seen him take a speech of 15 pages home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At 10 o'clock, in fact 2 o'clock the next day in the afternoon, he came and gave a speech to the, I think, IEA, industries or a trade fair site. He recited the 15 pages by rote, without reading. He just started speaking, and we had the speech in front of us. And we just kept ticking the paragraphs. When we got to page 4, 2 paragraphs had been missed out. So we were trying to look at him to prompt him, but he was speaking, so you couldn't do anything much. When we got to page 8, we realized what he was saying wasn't there. Then we realized that the 2 paragraphs he had left out had actually been put in the right place. He was doing this by rote, which immediately confirmed that he had a photographic memory. He never forgot. The one thing you never did to Professor Mills was to lie. He will remind you of the clothes you were wearing the day you said what you said. That is the level of intellect and IQ we were dealing with. But for never once did it show, because he was so humble. To get a PhD in law in the area of taxation at 27, if you are not in academia, maybe you don't understand what we are talking about. But that is some feat. He is the first Fulbright scholar to actually become a president in Africa. So you are not dealing even in the area of academia and stature with, and yet he mixed with everybody.
Your final words, was it worth it leaving your job, everything behind, and pitching tent with the prof? And is all this drive, the heritage, is it worth it for you?
No regrets. No regrets. I'm a richer person for it.
Mr. Alex Segwefia, thank you for your time, and we wish you the very best in your endeavors. Former Deputy Chief of Staff and Chairman of the John Atta Mills Memorial Heritage has been our guest at the table. We've been talking about immortalizing Professor Mills's memory 10 years on. July would be 10 years since the passing of the former president, and the Heritage wants to ensure that his memory lives on. We'll be back after the break. Please stay with us.
from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what this written about?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning. It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah?
Hi, welcome to the Yellow Couch, brought to us by kindness of Quick Credit and Investment Microcredit Limited, and they say lending made simple. Well, let's go for a quick commercial break and let's find out what Quick Credit has in store for Ghanaians. And when we come back, we're going to be doing something on our Unearthing Talent series, and we have an amazing woman in studio and she's doing gospel. So here's a quick break.
Worry me. Watch me, you for 1 week, Mr. Community. Oh, now, yes.
Senior, name me and you more cut down my businesses are collapse and my house are bounced.
So, take quick credit.
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who Pesica? Eddie Astati, you may be. We have been Eddie with we are government and our private worker. Who Pesica they are till horses. We are Bosumi. We are Sicania, we been tempered. So, quick credit, we more loan, and what you are in Kakra. Now, and just some Cassian said, a collateral free loaner, Susu, savings, account open, and our depositors MBL. You hear and say, who Ghana card 2022 year, 1 year you want, now one hour young. Who need excuse here?
To 03022 00390 and 05969 20833.
But see that quick credit check us out to
Welcome back. And so we're going to be speaking to a woman who she started her musical career in church, singing in churches. And now she wants to go commercial and make some money off it. And so here's our latest addition to the music industry. I know, right? Yeah. So meet Trudy.
Yes.
Welcome to the Yellow Couch.
Thank you.
So how would you want to be addressed? Trudy the gospel musician, Trudy the artist? How would you call yourself or introduce yourself to someone?
I'm a gospel musician.
So you want to stick to gospel musician?
Yes.
Okay. So why do you want to now leave church, the church auditoriums, and make it more commercial?
It's just doing the same thing, just that now a lot of people get to know what it's in you, what you've been gifted with. Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So most of the musicians we're speaking to in the secular industry, they say they started from church.
Yes.
And then they branched to the secular industry.
Yeah.
Are we looking to see you branching away from Christian music into secular music anytime soon?
No, I don't think so. No.
Never?
No.
How about collaboration? With a secular artist?
For that, I can't tell. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. But if something pops up, yeah, why not?
Collaboration, you're open for collaboration. But you moving into secular music, it won't happen.
Because that's not my field. Yeah, that's not my field. So everyone has their own talent
and their strengths. Yes, that's definitely. That's
definitely
okay. So in church, were you a chorister? Were you part of a singing group? What part do you sing?
I'm a praise and worship leader, and I also join a choir. Yeah.
So when you're with a choir, what's your pitch? What part do you sing?
I would say treble, more like, or tenor. Yeah. More.
So is it different when you sing with the choir and when you're with a band, like a singing group? Is it different?
Normally when I sing with the choir, I'm a lead.
You're a lead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a lead.
Can you do a chorus for me? Did you go to church this Sunday, past Sunday?
Since I came to Ghana, I haven't actually been to church. No. It's been so busy. I haven't had the chance.
Okay. So can you sing for us, but use your choir voice when you lead?
Okay, like what song?
Don't ask me to choose. But if I choose for you, be in trouble. So no, choose your own song.
No, I don't join. I join the church choir.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So just do a song, any song. Before we go to your video, just do any song.
Okay. We give you all the glory. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised.
Okay, so yeah, that's evidence enough. Yeah, she does sing in the choir. You passed our test. So tell us who Trudy is. I mean, we know you started from the church, but when it comes to music, how did you put it together to finally decide to get to this point where you want to be a musician?
Funny enough, when I had the passion for music, and from the initial stage, I had my interest was actually in R&B. That was where I had the passion.
Who was your favorite R&B singer then?
Beyonce.
Yeah. Beyonce has amazing high notes. Have you ever been able to catch any of her notes?
Not yet.
What's your favorite Beyonce song? Sorry.
I think around that time. Okay, around that time, I was a fan of Destiny's Child.
You switched from Beyonce to Destiny's Child.
No. I was a fan of Destiny's Child. Yeah, before I turned.
So, what was
Beyonce.
your favorite Destiny Child music? Beyonce was still part of Destiny.
Yeah. So. I'm a Survivor. Oh dear, I've forgotten some of them.
From Destiny's Child to church.
Yes.
So you don't remember any Destiny's Child song?
Oh, I'm a Survivor.
So do the chorus.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I'm a survivor, I'm gonna make it, I will survive.
You're singing like a church. You're singing the survivor like let's leave survivor. It's good that you are sticking to the church songs now. It's okay.
Yeah, because then, even though I had the passion, I didn't have the voice there.
But now you have the voice. You don't have the voice for Destiny's Child. I mean, that's just jokes. Okay, so tell us your story.
Yeah, so I started going to church, and then, you know, prophecy started coming to join the choir. At first, I was scared because I didn't have the voice. You know, I didn't have the confidence to. Though the passion was there, the confidence wasn't there because I didn't have the voice. But I became obedient, and then I joined the choir, and through practice, I don't know how the voice came, but
miracle. It's a miracle.
A voice came, and here I am today.
Amazing. Okay, so we are going to make a quick detour onto Trudy's video, guys, and so here it comes. Please enjoy. That's Faith by Trudy, featuring
Kofi Sapon.
I was going to say SP Kofi Sapon, then featuring Kofi Sapon. Right, so that's Faith. What inspired Faith? What inspired it? Don't tell me you slept and God put it in a dream.
No. This, I wasn't the one who wrote the song. I bought it from someone.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah.
Was it expensive?
A bit.
Do you want to tell us a bit of figure to that?
No.
Okay. But was it in cedis or in dollars?
In pounds.
In pounds?
Because I don't live here.
Okay. So you bought the lyrics.
Yes.
Did you contract the person to write the songs, the lyrics for you?
No, the person actually wrote it. And then when I heard the words in the song, I was like, this is for me. You know, this is my song. And the words in it, it's inspiring, it's encouraging, it gives you hope. Yeah, so when I heard the words, I was like, yeah, I want this song. And I know it will bless someone too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How did you get about that bit when you wanted to start your musical career, but you weren't so certain of yourself because of your voice? How did you get over that challenge? Because if you didn't, you won't be here right now. No. So how did you get over that challenge?
I think it's as I said, with practice, because
voice coaching, voice training.
Yes, that was, so it got to a time I realized that, you know what, now I have got the voice. But then after getting the voice, you can't just come out because you need good management. And that was what kept me kept me away for all this long, because even though I had the voice, I didn't have someone to manage me. I didn't have someone to guide me. But thanks be to God, when I met Mr. Kwesi, that was when I was like, yeah, I know I've landed.
Wow. So how does it feel like, now that you have landed, how does it feel like being in the limelight? How's your music doing online? What's the feedback you're getting?
Oh, like, I'm so surprised that like the feedback is so good.
That's a miracle.
Yeah, it's how the how Ghanaians and the world have accepted the song. It's just so amazing, and it gives me the courage and the hope that this is God, because for you to come out with your first single and get that like great feedback, it's really encouraging.
Okay,
yeah.
What feedback did you get, and who was that feedback from that made you realize that, this is a miracle?
I think one of the top music engineers, Uncle Freddie.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him.
Okay.
I think he wrote an article about the song, and I met him last Saturday on Power FM.
Okay.
And then he was like, for me to write an article about your song, it should tell you how good your song is. So when you hear things like this, you're like, oh wow, you're doing a good thing.
Okay, so Faith is here.
Yeah.
What's next after Faith?
A lot.
Is there an album? Is there an EP? Are there other singles you release?
No, there'll be an album.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely an album.
Okay. Do we have an idea when the album will be out?
Very soon.
Okay.
Actually, let me put very, very soon.
Okay. Okay. How many songs are going to be on there? We've only seen Faith. Which other ones are on there?
We've got quite a few on
okay.
there.
Do you know their titles? Do you know the songs?
I would want to keep that and surprise people with it.
Okay. But do you see yourself writing your own lyrics in the near future?
Yes, I do write songs myself. Yes, but it doesn't stop. The fact that you can do it doesn't stop you from, getting help from others.
Yeah. And sometimes help is better.
Yeah.
Okay. How are the artists and the musicians and the gospel music fraternity, how are they receiving you?
Yes, I haven't met much, but I think I've met Gifty, Empress.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was just so lovely. I've met Celestine Donko, very, very lovely woman. And yeah, like the welcoming was very good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What would be your final words? What would you want to tell Ghanaians? What would you want to tell people who are watching us?
What I want to tell, like what I would like to say is, the song is titled Faith. And the world we live in now, you cannot survive without faith.
Definitely not.
You need faith, especially it being a new year. You need faith to be able to move through the year, Challenges will come. The fact that we are Christians doesn't mean that there wouldn't be any challenge, but it's your faith that will carry you through that challenge. So no matter what you go through, no matter what you are facing, no matter what is ahead of you, just have faith. Believe in God, believe in yourself. Take a bold step and do great things, knowing that God is backing you. Yeah.
You have to move with faith.
Yes.
That's what I'm taking home.
Yes.
Where do we find you on social media? How do we connect with you?
All right. I'm on Facebook. It's Trudy Music.
It's Trudy Music.
Yeah. On Instagram, it's Trudy Music. YouTube, Trudy Music. The song title is Faith. And the music is on all digital platforms, Amazon, Boomplay, iTunes. Just go and download it. When you go on YouTube, after watching it, like it, subscribe, and then share for others to also enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you, Trudy. Thank you, Trudy, for coming. Thank you. We've been spending time with Trudy. Her song Faith is out. She's the latest addition to the gospel music industry here in Ghana, and we're encouraging you to go on all the digital streaming platforms, share her music, listen, and when you go on YouTube, like her page. Also, remember to go look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast on all the social medias, and you'll find us. Just use the hashtag GTV Breakfast on every platform. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. back, and my team have joined me on Tea and Cuff, and yesterday was the birthday of A's legendary actress Grace Norte. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Happy birthday. And we have a surprise. She's joined us via phone. Good morning, Auntie Grace.
Good morning.
Happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. How are you, ma'am? So, what did you do yesterday for your birthday? What did you do yesterday for your birthday, please?
Oh, nothing. I didn't do anything, but we just gathered, had lunch together, breakfast together, lunch together, and some few friends.
Wow, wow, wow. We're wishing you God's blessings, and for all the things you've done for us. You've graced our screens. You've inspired lots of people, different people in different parts of the world, and we here at GBC, we are honored to be speaking to you, and happy birthday once again. Kav, you want us to sing happy birthday to the legend?
Yes, I remember years ago she was on the same set, the Who Wants to Be Rich set, for one of the charity editions. Auntie Grace, how are you? This is Kafui Day. How are you, Afi?
Happy Christmas.
How are you?
I'm good.
We want to sing happy birthday for you. Are you ready for us?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Give us a tune.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Auntie Grace.
Happy birthday to you.
Hip, 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 hip.
Hooray! Auntie Grace, you want job babao. We love you. We appreciate you. You are such a gem. I remember Mami Mangani till today. Anytime I go to buy any traditional or local medicine, and I just remember Mami Mangani. So we celebrate you today. Thank you for sharing your talents with Ghana and the world.
Thank you.
Enjoy the birthday. It's a whole year, so don't just end from yesterday. The whole year you have to celebrate.
Invite us to the party. We are fully vaccinated.
All right. Thank you, Auntie Grace. God bless you. Have an amazing year. I'm sure our team will be swinging by one of these days. I mean, we have to come and get all the behind the scenes and all the nitty-gritties and all the advice and all the things that we need now on our screens more than ever. Thank you. God bless you. It's GTV Breakfast, guys. How nice is that? How nice is that? Yeah.
Actress.
Amazing.
Yeah, she did great movies. The medicine, I didn't catch that inside.
The Mami Mangani.
No.
People, you didn't watch Ghanaian movies back in the day.
No.
This was not an easy woman. She was a medicine woman. I said, Mami Mangani will give you good medicine. Good medicine is what she said.
What was the medicine supposed to cure?
Many things.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Oh, but we also had a birthday shout to Professor Mark Dodu from the channel manager GTV, Mrs. Barbara Gazy, and she's sending it on behalf of all the presenters, past and present. Anyone who has ever gone through your hands, happy birthday to you. And he was the originator of the concept of the breakfast show, and so we are all here because of his dream and his vision. So, Professor Magdodu, former director of television of GBC, we honor you.
Good. People are still voting for the cleaner cities in Ghana. And Sunyani and Ho seem to be in the commanding lead. Not comfortable, but commanding lead.
Commanding.
I think
Sunyani.
Akosombo should be in there too.
There was a vote. I saw a vote
for Akosombo. Akosombo should be in there too.
The first time I went there, I was shocked, man. I said, wow.
Clean air. You can breathe in.
Yeah.
Clean air.
Really, really nice. I really like the vibe.
I'm surprised you're not voting for Tema. I don't know if my little desert village is a city. Otherwise, I would have said Opampate.
No,
so? I mean, I live in Tema. Maybe when I was growing up, I could have voted Tema as one of the cleanest cities, but now I will not.
You've come down the league table.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you live in Tema and you are watching, then you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes
it's sad when I watch Accra, because you see the potential and you just wonder.
What happened?
Right.
People just need to be more responsible.
Have you been to Ho, any of you?
Yes,
recently?
I have.
You've been to Ho?
Yes,
been to Ho?
recently.
Sunyani, have you seen? Sunyani is clean. Sunyani is clean. Sunyani is very clean.
That's why it keeps getting top
Octopus.
Yeah, Sunyani holds.
So keep the votes coming in. Cleanest city in Ghana. Keep the votes coming in. We had a big conversation today on,
National heritage. Yes. So
did you bring up Koku?
I did.
Yes.
I did. I mean, it would have seemed like the elephant in the room if you had just ignored the fact that somebody appears to be doing pretty much the same thing. But I like how he described it as Professor Mills being a big ocean. So there's many types of fish in there. So if you don't like octopus, then I think you're weird, because who doesn't? But then there's other fish. So you can get cassava fish, you can get fish and snappers and shark and everything.
There are different sorts of fishes.
Posna is
okay, all right.
And so it's a lot of things that you can get in that ocean, which is Professor Atta Mills, and anything that would really highlight. And he mentioned Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as a former leader of Ghana who is known worldwide, even though most of us never met him in person. And it's because of the efforts to immortalize his name and do put things up that remind people of who he was and what he stood for. And so if they're seeking to do that, I'm excited, because then generations before us who did not meet the good Prof, I was a journalist when he was president, so I know a bit about him. But
did you ever meet him?
Yes.
Personally, he did? Okay. I never met him.
I never met him face to face, but we were in the same space as him. So he came across as quite the man, and I would want that, idea of his many faces to be brought to fore. A lawyer, he's an economist, he's into taxation, like
PhD at what age?
A PhD at 27. 27. Like, how old are you? What's your highest qualification? You that is watching, you are the one I'm asking. So if you can do this at 27, I mean, smart man.
Okay, and the family. For me, the news was that there were 3 other organizations before theirs that were just doing things in honor of Professor Mills. I only knew of the Atta Mills Institute, which has Kokwani over there. So for me, that was news that there are 2 other organizations that are also there doing stuff, maybe on the quiet, but still doing it. Did you talk about the family involvement in this particular heritage?
So some of them are on the board as well, and so they are. As we're being very much involved, and I think it has their blessing as well, because he did mention that the former First Lady would have been there, only that she was out of town at the time that this was happening, and that's why she wasn't. Otherwise, she would have been there. So it's good to see, especially people from across the political divide coming together to immortalize him. Of course, when you hosted the event yesterday, you heard the comments that Kwame Mpieni made about former President Mills. And to see that, and for everyone to unite in the consensus that this was a great man, and all the negativity, the negative press that he had received before his death dying out, and making way for all the positives and his virtues to be more predominant in media circle space for Mr. Segbefia was very profound. At that point, it was really emotional, and he said he has not regretted almost leaving everything behind and joining that train.
Yeah, President Mahama was quite emotional yesterday also, and the chief Nana Kobna Nketia the Fifth was joking that he was curious to see whether any tears would drop, and if any tears are dropped, he would have made sure that if he were a chief, they would take his stool from him, because you look like public, and everybody had a good laugh. But he was quite emotional about it. I mean, talking about his former boss and everything, and reading things to us that nobody knew about, or he had never spoken about till yesterday. So if you should go and look for the things all across social media, you see.
I just enjoyed what former President Mahama said about the beard gang, because he wants to join, or what was that thing now?
Well, so as he was going up, he was going up, and then he said, you know how he does these icebreakers? He has this way of just relaxing people before he speaks. So when he came, he said, well, he doesn't know whether there's a beard thing going around, because, well, Kafu is there with the beard. And then he sees Mr. Segbefia too with a beard. Should he also grow one? But then he remembers that his former boss was clean shaven, so he wants to stick with him. Yeah. But if he wants to join the beard gang,
he's welcome.
Touch it for him. Yes. No, you have to caress it,
But
No, here, like here.
Oh, okay.
That's what it feels like to have a beard.
Yes. Well, perhaps try it first.
Yes.
And then wear a mask.
You want to touch the beard.
And show it to only a few people.
Listen, so that's and you had a chat with Trudy.
Yeah.
How do you describe her music for somebody who didn't watch the interview?
Her music is inspiring, and her story is more inspiring because she said she knew she wanted to sing, but she also knew she didn't have a good voice, and that sort of stopped her. And so she decided that, hey, she kept hearing a voice in her ear that said, go, go, go. And she said that regardless, okay, I don't have a good voice. I'm going to get trained to get a good voice, because now, guess what? You can actually get a good voice if you don't have it. Tweak it a bit. And then she went, and here she is with her latest single, her first single.
You can't even sing Happy Bird. See, get your voice trained so that you can carry a tune in a bucket at least.
Did that tell you I want to become a musician?
Not to become a musician, just carry the tune in the bucket. Just carry the tune.
Yeah, so...
Guys, this has been our show. As usual, being live, we've entertained you, we've educated you and informed you guys. The conversation doesn't stop here, it continues. Even after we are done, you just look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast on all the social media apps, handles, and we are there. We are verified. All our accounts are verified. And so if you do share information and content from us, be assured it is authentic content from GBC. The hashtag to follow is GBC. GTV Breakfast. We'll see you again tomorrow. So from us here, the team, it's bye.
02.
I've been hustling in the morning.